Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. I hope all of y'all continue to have a blessed and humble day. Oops, let me pause the music real quick. I want to welcome everybody to, the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast. I was doing a live earlier, but I had to stop the live real quick to do something to deal with, family matters. But here I am. I told y'all, let me get like 2 hours to get myself together, and I'll be back on the live. So today we're gonna have random topics. It's random thoughts. I'm gonna be reacting to Judge Joe Brown today, and like I said, it's gonna be the last reaction video of 2023. So hold on one second. I'm just trying to. Boom. All right. So this is an open panel. If anybody wishes to come up, I know there's other people on live right now, but I wanted to get this out the way because for the next couple of days until after January 1st, what I'm going to be doing is just supporting people. I'll hop on panels, show people support, show some love, be sharing videos of positive channels of people that are building and people that are bringing awareness about what's happening around us and much more. And like I told y'all, we're on a mission to 500. We're almost there on the road to 500. So I want to thank everybody that is supporting a shorty because I had two pages. I had the podcast and I had the main page, right? And the main page got strikes on it like crazy, and a lot of them I cannot get them out. So what I decided to do was take all the videos out the main page, bring all the videos that involve me fighting the school, talking about bullying. A lot of the videos where I spoke on celebrities and much more. Hold on one second while I answer this door. Give me 1 second, guys. I apologize. Give me 1 second. 1 second. They don't talk about us only when there's a crime. Would you believe me if I was to tell you that in this world, with or without money, we're all rich, even the poor? The problem is those that say that I'm reaching out to give a hand and stay they leeching hands is itching, ready to see you listen. Well, thinking what to write, something inside me told me I can freestyle or I can rap. I can go with a rhythm that can make you dance. Tell you what I see on a daily, tell you everything's okay just to avoid dilemma. Or I can simply bring you something positive to the table and warn you of the ongoing problems that we're having. Instead, I have to reach out to my conscience once again as I watch the crime and the violence rise and the kids lose their innocence. Now the concept of forming a home day by day loses its essence. They don't want to hear that. I can't keep my arms crossed in front of the system. If I don't do something, I'm also part of the problem. As guilty as the one that pulls the trigger, like the person in the crowd that hits the record button on their phone to expose a lie instead of the truth for clout. They need 1,000 views. The government doesn't have a solution. The problem started when we took God out the equation. The problem ain't us celebrating. The problem is that we're a nation divided when we should be a nation united and praying. That's how we live today. When problems occur, we come up with a meaning. Laugh a little, move on with no care in the world, as if it ain't even a thing in this world. If it's like this today, I don't want to see the future. Because nowadays, they'll make a meme out of a person that can't even see the day of light no more. What makes you think they care? They can't even break bread at the table. I don't know how you want to be rappers and lyricists can go on with life, living on an illusion of nothing good to write. Talking about killing someone, selling drugs with pride, until the scripts are flipped and it's someone you love dies. Right? This ain't solved by activating the National Guards and going behind bars. This is deep, this is me and you. And they say as time passed by, we'll heal everything. Shit, you know these scars? I seen time flash by and never felt everything. Leaving me on standby, ready to kill everything. Alone in the mirror, looking at myself, say, girl, you're everything. You don't need for anything, shorty. So unless you walk a mile in my shoes, don't say anything. Just take a minute and listen so you can consume everything. Me and you are not the same, so make sure you look both ways when you cross me, and that's on everything. All right, yeah, like I was saying, right? So I was saying earlier when I was on my live, we are taking the channel on a little different direction. The podcasts are going to get better. Hopefully we get to see more of y'all here. But when we get more members, more subscribers, more people, interacting with us and stuff like that, we'll do the giveaways. So I'm just letting everybody know that all the videos that were on my main page that the new subscribers that are on this page haven't seen, the videos that I be talking so much about and other people be talking about, they're all little by little are gonna come out here, as the days come by. So I have a little content from my old page coming over here. Um, and I want to thank all of y'all for the support. Like, um, let's do this. Like, let's start building. I want to give a shout out to the Word, Nate the Great Podcast, The Mill Ticket, Angel Hatton, Young Riaz. Um, I haven't seen her in a while, but she does pop up here and there. Perpetual Platypus. These people have been rocking out with me for the longest. Letitia, I want to big a, I want to give a big, big, big shout out to Letitia Third Eye POV. If y'all have not subbed up to Letitia Third Eye POV's channel, make sure that y'all go sub up to Letitia Third Eye POV's channel. Like, great content. She knows so much over there that you can learn from. But shout out to these great content creators. It is so many good content creators out here. We don't even know about them. Shout out to Papa Duck, somebody that I love watching a lot. It's really a whole lot. Hopefully I can get to interview the content creators that I want to interview, and ask them the questions that I want to ask them, so that you could hear them. Like I said, I'm gonna take it to a different. This panel is going a whole different direction. Um, I'm gonna start interviewing the kids. Like I said, I started off with my goddaughter, and little by little, throughout my community and different communities, I'm gonna see which kids are willing to speak up in front of a camera about the issues that we're having and how they think that we could solve them and much more. How can we bring solutions to the table? What do they think? Hear what they gotta say when it comes to the communities and much more. Um, my fight against the school is going to keep going. It's so much going on, guys. Like I said earlier, I want to also take a minute, give my condolences to everybody that has lost a loved one. You know, to everybody that is missing or mourning a loved one. It's the holidays. A lot of people wish they had a lot of loved ones with them. I mean, unfortunately, not all of us have a family, that is functional. A lot of us came out, was brought up in a dysfunctional family. So it's crazy. I can sit here and say that I got to actually see not just dysfunctional families, but functional families, happy families, families that weren't happy. Like, it's so many things that happen in people's lives that we don't even know about. That, to me, when I come on social media and I see people judging people, or I see people trying to like bring people's lives out here without knowing what's really happening, to me that's messed up. And that's something that I fight against. Like, hate me, love me, whatever you want to do, but I'm gonna be who I am, and I'm not changing that person, that side of me at all. Like, I'm gonna continue to be me. One thing that I won't do, and I listen, on when it comes to this channel and in my real life, I don't sit here and I don't hold pedophiles. I don't cuddle them. I don't cover them up. You know what we do here? We expose them. Like, we expose them. Hashtag, let's put all pedophiles away. Mine, yours, everyone's. Like, we expose them here. Hashtag rest in peace to all the pedophiles. Real shit. Like, I got hashtag rest in peace to all the predators. Got the t-shirts out and everything. Like, thanks to everybody that's been supporting, that's been rocking out. Because of y'all, Shorty has made it this far. Like, because of y'all sharing, commenting, and liking the videos. And y'all more than welcome. Listen, hit that like when y'all come in, help a Shorty out. And y'all can also hit that dislike for those of y'all, those of y'all haters that are out there that can't seem to see somebody out here bringing something positive out for the youth. Those of y'all that think that the youth is not listening, that want to keep pointing fingers at each other, pinpointing fingers at the kids. Like, hey, listen, man, the dislike button is right there. Y'all more than hit that. Y'all more than welcome to hit that, John. There's no, listen, man, we're not here to judge nobody. We're not here to bring nobody down. We're here to bring awareness. We've been doing that. And I want to thank everybody once again. And like I said, once we make it to 500 and I get the watch hours up there, which I'm almost there, we're going to do the giveaways. We're going to do the the merchandise giveaway, everything, cash money giveaways, and much more. So thanks. Like I told y'all, we're gonna get there little by little. Listen, man, I want to let a lot of people know. Like I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people. People telling me they want to quit because of how there's people on here. There's gonna be a lot of trolls. Let me tell y'all this, right? Don't ever give up. Don't stop making your content because there's somebody out here that's hating. You're gonna have supporters. You're gonna have haters. Like um it happens in real life, not just on social media. So if you got a message that you want to put out there, you want to bring awareness to something, don't stop because somebody in their bag and they feel some type of way. Nah, keep going. Ignore that shit. Find a way how to, surpass that, like overcome that, like go past it, like go by it. Like if they don't want to be there on your channel, they don't have to be there. We're not Listen, we're not everybody's cup of tea. I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Real shit. And not everybody's channel is gonna be everybody's cup of tea. Like if it's not for you, go somewhere else. Like I've had to say that to a couple people. Oh, frankly, nobody cares. Oh, who gives a fuck? Who did? Obviously, you must give a damn if you're commenting and you're taking the time. If you didn't want to see it, you would have skipped through it. If you didn't like it, you would have just went past it. Like fuck it, I don't want to see this shit. The view's still there. You can like it or dislike it. It's up to y'all. Listen, man, I got a variety of both. I got a whole bunch of likes and I got a few dislikes in between. And it's crazy, right? Because I also got people on here that, come at me because I expose predators. I expose pedophiles. Guess what? In the beginning, I used to feel some type of way when people used to lash at me and come at me and say stupid shit at me, and I'm just like, why? If I'm trying to bring awareness, I'm trying to tell y'all something. I'm trying to, help the kids, bring somebody up, motivate them, and y'all trying to break me down. That shit don't phase me no more. I've been through so much here on social media that I grew up. I've been through so much that it's like, listen, man, you could say whatever you want, and I'm gonna sit here calmly. Now, disrespect me, I'm gonna top your disrespect, just like any normal person should. And it's crazy, right? Because I've had conversations with different people, and they be like, "Ray, I don't know how you could do it." You know what's crazy? Let me tell y'all. Let me let y'all on a little secret, right? When you ignore people, when you leave them with their words in their mouths, and you walk away from the situation, it gets them more heated. It gets them more pissed off, and it shows their actual true colors. Believe me or not, I've been through it. I've seen people go through it. I'm somebody that sits here and observes. Like this world is so crazy and it's so asshole backwards. Like people get offended when you tell them the truth. Why you offended? The truth hurts. I know that shit. But what you offended for? Because if you saying it's not about you, what you offended for? That's why I don't get offended on this, John. Because listen, man, the people that come on here, they don't know me from a can of paint. And I don't hide my face. I'm not scared to show who I am. I know who I am, and I'm not going to change who I am for nobody. I've had people tell me, "Oh, you need to change your channel and what you do." I'm not changing shit because if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. There's people out there, panels that I'll be like, "Oh," and when I start seeing how they are, this ain't for me. This ain't my cup of tea. I'm out this joint. It ain't for me. I'm not gonna sit here and talk shit and nah, for what? I ain't got time for that. I'm not no little ass kid that's gonna be on social media arguing back and forth with people when I'm sitting here trying to bring solutions to the table. Now, what type of message am I bringing for the youth? Tell me, what am I bringing to the table for the youth now? When I came on here saying I'm doing this, no, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not no Hassan Campbell. I'm not no Charleston White. See, in the beginning, I used to wonder why people would be like, yo, you an advocate for the kids. You're kind of like an activist. I'm like, I'm neither or. I'm just here trying to help the kids. If I was able to help my child, I want to be able to help the next child. And I wasn't even able to help my child all the way. And what I mean by that is that by the time I helped my child, there was people trying to influence him because I was real busy trying to fight the system and trying to sit here and work, bring food to the table, right? I was trying to do all of this at the same time and not noticing that there was people in my child's ears. That right there was a mistake, and I'm not scared to speak on it. There's no shame in my game. There's no filters in my mouth and there's no hairs in my tongue. I'm going to speak what I think and how I feel. And if you feel some type of way, well, listen, you can speak up your mind. You can say what you got to say. And it's crazy that we could tell people how we feel without disrespecting them. The problem nowadays is that people have a problem with respecting other people. People have a problem with having a decent conversation. We can't have decent conversations no more. They don't exist no more. By the way, guys, make sure, listen, man, make sure y'all share that video, hit that like button, hit that dislike button too if you don't like what I'm saying. If you don't like my channel, like, listen, it's up to y'all. If you don't like this video, hit that dislike button. But I'm going to keep spitting the facts. I'm going to keep speaking the facts. Because at the end of the day, you know what's crazy? All y'all adults out here, y'all don't give a fuck what I'm saying. But these kids out here, the youth, actually do listen to what I'm saying. They actually do give a fuck about what I'm saying. Y'all may not, but they do. And that's why I'm still fighting. That's why I haven't quit. Because out of the 5 to 6 children that have come up to me, out of the, I could say 4 to 3 teenagers that have walked up to me, I'm like, yo, man, you're right, man. I need to sit down and analyze what I'm doing and figure out what it is that I really want. I need to stop doing this. Da, 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 da. If I reach them, that's what matters. Reaching them is what matters to me. Knowing that I help them in the right way, help them guide them to the right path, and not sitting here, right, making them do dumb shit that's going to get them locked up. So it's crazy, yeah. A lot of us are all here with a positive message, but can't people hear what we're saying because of the dumb shit that's going on here on social media? But people like that. That's why my focus isn't on the adults as much, because at the end of the day, the adults don't give a fuck. Their minds is made up. They're gonna do whatever they want to do. And you know what's crazy? Before I keep talking, let's watch this video with Judge Joe Brown real quick, because I want y'all to see what I'm talking about. Yo, Judge Joe Brown, I looked up to this man since I was young. And it's crazy now that I'm older, I understand a lot of the stuff that Judge Joe Brown is talking about. Hold on one second. Who is it? Okay. All right. So Judge Joe Brown, a lot of people be talking a lot of shit about him, but this man be speaking facts. I don't know why they hate so much on this man, but listen to what he's got to say on this video. Shout out to the real Dana. If y'all haven't subbed up to her, go check her out. I've been subbed up to her for a minute. Love her content, and she has a lot of interviews with Judge Joe Brown. So listen, let's react to this video real quick, and then I'm gonna keep talking to y'all. Shout out to the real Dana.
Are you striving for financial growth but feel limited by your current income? Tired of long commutes that steal precious family time? Concerned about rising bills? You're in the right place. The highest paid.online's Black Friday sale offers a 25% discount on our VIP program with code November 25. This program includes over 45 content classes, bi-monthly live broadcasts, 4 hours of personal consultation, 3 hours of mindset counseling, and an exclusive Discord community. The economic climate is shifting. Ensure you're prepared. Act now.
Shit, my bad. I think the mic was muted. Yeah, like I was saying, this is a interview that the real Dana did with Judge Joe Brown, and he's giving his perspective on here when it comes to what the situation that happened with Diddy and I think Cassie.
Diddy has vehemently denied all of the offensive, outrageous allegations. The music mogul, Sean Diddy Combs, blah, 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 blah. Wait, let me go down. Oh, they met in 2005. They split up in 2018. The lawsuit claims that before the end of their relationship, Combs forced his way into her home and took advantage of her. He's 54. She's what, 37 or something. Um, he denies it. So she says in a legal document that was filed in Manhattan's federal court, after years in silence and darkness, I am finally ready.
For those of you that do come and catch this live, if if y'all do are there in the bushes, it doesn't matter. Like if y'all want to leave a comment down there, or if y'all want to leave, if y'all catch the replay, like, do y'all believe that Cassie was telling the truth about what Diddy did to her? Do y'all believe that she was lying?
To tell my story and to speak up
Bullshit.
for the benefit of other women who face violence and abuse in their
Says Joe Brown has
relationships.
never lied. Like he's
Um,
exposed so much.
Among the
That's why
serious
they mad at
allegations
him.
is that Combs sex trafficked Casey, who's 37, to male prostitutes to fulfill his voyeurism fantasies in hotels and at his home. The lawsuit claims she was directed to have sex with multiple men, sometimes in masks and costumes, while the music exec watched, masturbated, and filmed it. In the court documents, Casey continues to say that the ordeal's horrific encounter says she had to take drugs to disassociate during the trafficking sessions. During one of the sessions in 2016, which are called freak offs in a lawsuit, a drunk Combs punched her in the face and given her a black eye as he fell asleep and she tried to leave the hotel. He woke up, ran after her, and threw a glass vase. The lawsuit claims that while the hotel security cameras captured the incident, he paid them $50,000 to get rid of the footage. The lawsuit also claims that he asked Ventura to carry his gun in her purse. He allegedly once dangled one of Cassie's friends off a 17th hotel balcony. She alleged, Combs allegedly
Damn, if he did that to a friend, why didn't the friend come out? Like, I don't want to say Cassie is lying, but it's crazy how a lot of people right now are using these type of molestation cases, situations to either win money, put a man behind bars. Even though Puff Daddy deserves to be behind bars, I'm not gonna sit here and deny that part. Like for so many reasons. Like, but could Cassie be telling the truth? Is the crazy part, or could she be pulling a Jesse Smollett?
piled her with ecstasy and ketamine and often beat her
Me,
up. She never told authorities because would merely give Mr. Combs another excuse to hurt her. Lawsuits notes one event in 2009 where Combs saw her speaking to another agent, so he pushed her into the car and kicked her repeatedly in her face until she was bleeding. Documents also subscribe when Combs got angry that Casey was dating Kid Cudi in 2012. Diddy told Cassie that he would blow up Cudi's car. Around that time, Kid Cudi's car did explode in his driveway, but she claims she don't know if it was actually Diddy that did that. But um, if she did not obey, and she also says that Combs would threaten to suppress her music if she did not obey his violent orders. He also paid for her car and apartment and had access to her personal medical records. She is seeking unspecified damages. The law
me personally, hold on one second while I deal with my daughter because I can't. Hold on one second. Me personally, I can't say here she's lying because I've seen so many stories that have happened in Hollywood with the abuse and listen, the extortions, all this. Could it be a shakedown? Mm, that's a great question. But that's it's just like damn, I'm stuck here because first of all, a lot of shit ain't adding up in her stories. Second of all, we know that females are capable of falsely accusing men of doing things like this. But third of all, and most importantly, Diddy is known. That's why you need to be upstairs. To abuse little boys. So it's kind of like, but then here comes the question of like, what happened to his ex-wife? Well, his deceased wife, the one before Cassie.
Lawsuit is brought under Adult Survivors Act,
Who's the lawyer?
which is one second, which
Hmm.
is a New York law allowing people to
Yo, he said, "Who is the lawyer?" First question he asked, "Who is the lawyer?"
file claims even after the statute of limitations has run out. With the expiration of New York's Adult Survivors Act fast approaching, it became clear that this was an opportunity to speak up about the trauma.
Isn't she married right now?
She's married with two kids, and she also says, and that I will be recovering from for the rest of my life.
Then why'd she stay there for 15 years?
Well, 10 years. Well,
10 years. She's, doesn't she sing or something like that?
yeah, she was a singer, and then when they
So if
got,
she has financial wherewithal, why didn't she just leave?
I don't know. She said she tried to, and he threw the vase, and she was too scared to leave.
Well,
Now,
she left anyway. She summoned up a nerve to leave.
well, now,
See, this stuff becomes, like it sounds like what does her husband got to say about this?
oh, he's supporting her, of course.
Oh, yeah, he wants the money. How's her professional career coming along?
Reach to the table.
She doesn't have one anymore.
Go to the table.
She
Away
only
from,
put out
Oh,
take it to the table away from the
they need
smoke.
the money.
financial shakedown through his attorney says Mr. Combs vehemently
Ah,
denies
keeping
these
us up.
offensive and outrageous
You need
allegations.
to
For the
move.
past 6 months, Mr. Combs had been subjected to Ms. Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail.
In other words, I would suspect that her lawyer would be Gloria Allred or her daughter.
No, that's not her lawyer because what Gloria Arbor would make sure her name and face would have been on the ads in the.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing. It's a shakedown. By the way, the point is, like,
Judge Joe Brown is known for exposing everything that's happened in Hollywood, and I wouldn't pass it. But who's broke? Like I know Diddy not broke, so who he talking about? Cassie's family, right? It's gotta be. Like if anybody knows a little more info on that, let a shorty know.
said, it's a shakedown. So, is there any counterclaim anticipated about extortion here?
That's what
Defamation of character?
his lawyer is saying, that it is a financial shakedown. That what she's saying is not true.
Okay, so it's extortion and it's also defamation of character on his part. That'd be nice, cute, interesting, except I don't give a damn one way or another. It just sounds like too much. See, I don't buy stuff like this. And you have women who actually have been done wrong. So every time you get one of these coming up like this, it gets crazy. Plus, it's another example of
And he's not lying. That be the problem with females that fake and falsely accuse men of doing things because it messes up. It messes it up for the women that actually do go through something, and when they gotta speak up, now they're not believed because of women like Cassie. So if it seems like a shakedown and extortion, that's messed up. Because listen, man, hold on, what the hell? My bad. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, I fixed it right here. That's the worst thing to do. And if you know Diddy, this not gonna stay. It's not. Listen, man. I pray for her family and her.
because of a political agenda, you get all kinds of craziness interjected in the law where you start making exceptions like extensions of the statute of limitations and all of this other garbage where if somebody assaults you, hits you with a baseball bat, you got 1 year or 2 years to do it. Somebody pinches you on the butt and you get offended, then you've got 30 years to complain about it. I mean, it doesn't make good sense. You need consistency in the law. Now, if a woman is actually done wrong, that's not good. Give her an action, but for everyone that's done wrong, they get cut off on this. Plus, this is an old time effort to reestablish the concept of palimony. Now, you had Lee Marvin, an action hero type from back when.
Who's
His
Lee Marks?
girlfriend
I'm about to
sued
search
him.
that
The
up.
lower court awarded
You know who Lee
$10
Marks is?
million against him. Everybody was happy, and all across the country they were talking about palimony, palimony. But the California Supreme Court reduced the millions of dollars down to, I think it was $10,000, and said, "Be gone. You aren't entitled to the rest of it." So
This comes in perfect with the video that I uploaded that's on my channel. For those of you that haven't seen it, should women go to jail for falsely accusing men? Even though Diddy deserves his karma, what Cassie just did makes it harder for all the women that need to speak up and tell their truth and get justice. So hopefully it's not extortion, but it seems like it is because, like I said before, her story's not adding up. You want the rest of this, Jay? So her story is not adding up. It's just, I don't know. I would love to get a male's perspective on this when it comes to this topic. So if y'all want to leave the comments, let me know. Huh?
Please.
this isn't the kind of thing that law is supposed to be about. This is just opportunism.
For the past 6 months, Mr. Combs had been subjected to Miss Ventura's persistence demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a demanding book about their
That's
relationship,
short.
which was
That's black.
unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail.
Well, it's New York. Look what they're doing with Trump. He had to supposedly pay Stormy Daniels a good sum of money. We don't know how much exactly, but there are allegations, and that was to keep her quiet. Any place else in the country, if you have to pay somebody to keep them from embarrassing you, that's called blackmail.
Uh-huh.
So
So
maybe they understand blackmail in the state of New York, or let me put it this way, in the boroughs of New York, New York.
Yo, Judge Joe Brown. If you ever get the opportunity, man, I know you're going off of YouTube, but before you go off of YouTube, could you do a shorty a favor? Let me interview you on my podcast.
But anyway, this is
Or maybe no. So maybe that's Sean Combs' defense because she's filing under the Adult Survivors Act.
I know it's a bullshit act.
Well, it's a
But
state
Yo.
law. I
Hey,
don't think it's a bullshit act when you got people paying and going to prison under it.
yeah, I know. It's like
You
trying.
calling it BS, but it's people that's getting found guilty
Look. In
and
other
paying
words,
to these women.
in other words, if anybody else was involved in that, and let's say somebody took a baseball bat or a brick.
This is why they call him an asshole. But shit, man, I guess I love assholes because I got my own personal asshole, and he talks just like that, but in his own way.
And broke somebody's jaw in 4 or 5 places and knocked out 6 teeth, they'd have, depending upon what the statute of limitations is in New York, it's either 1 year or 2 years. But something like this, they get unlimited extension. Like, what's more serious? Somebody getting their face smashed in with a heavy object, or somebody with this kind of situation? In other words, why give an extension for something like this, which is way beyond what happens? Wrongful death, you get 1 year or 2 years, depending upon the state. Atrocious misconduct, where you set somebody afire, and tried to torture them. You get 1 year or 2 years, depending upon the state, aside from the criminal aspect.
And y'all see why? Shit, this is why I don't forgot. I think I was on Lake and Kisses podcast, and I'm not sure if it was there that I said it or somebody else's podcast. But I was telling them this is why you need to know your laws, and this is why y'all need to know your rights.
So wrongful death, 1 year or 2 years. Well, I already mentioned that one. So what is this where we have this select group of people? It's like hate crimes. Everything that a hate crime is supposed to resolve is already resolvable by the ordinary law. So you set up a special category of criminality if it offends a certain select group of people, and that always backfires within a decade anyway. So I mean, it's just people who are lusting for.
It says the timing of the Adult Survivors Act 1 year window to file civil cases opens November 23rd, 2022 and closes November 23rd, 2023. The Adult Survivors Act is a New York state law that.
All right, so we're gonna pause it right here, right? And like I asked a lot of y'all, right, especially the men, do y'all believe that Cassie's situation is a real situation, or do y'all believe that it was a shakedown, like Judge Joe Brown has said? See, Judge Joe Brown is known for exposing a lot of stuff that happens in Hollywood. Like, yo, this man right here has no filters, no hairs in his tongues. Real shit. But speaking on that, he also has an opinion on the churches. So, for those of y'all that haven't checked out The Real Dana, that interview with Judge Joe Brown, the full interview is on her channel. Go check her out. The clipped up version, which is the portion that we were just watching, is also on her channel. So shout out to The Real Dana. Make sure y'all go check her out. Now, this is another episode, and I'm not sure if it's the same interview we're about
Tell
to
me
see.
what this parole I'm dealing with.
Judge Joe, you don't.
All right, so this is a clip from the same interview, but let's take a look at it. All right, so on here he's talking about the churches and much more. And the reason I want to show this is because it's crazy, right? For the past couple of days, I've had a lot of people reach out to me. They listen, I should convert to this, I should convert to that, and I've already given my message when it comes to that. Listen, I believe in God, nothing more, nothing less. I don't believe in the Bible. Like, people have gotten mad at me. Get mad. That's my opinion, and that's how I feel. I should be able to freely express how I feel without being judged or brought down. I believe in God, nothing more, nothing less. I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in nothing else.
You don't do nothing really pop culture, but have you been hearing this past week, or really 2 weeks, TD Jakes being accused of.
Oh snap! That's something else that's been going viral lately too. About they've been talking about TD Jakes. So let's hear what. Damn, I'm mad I missed this live, and I'm just catching the clips. I gotta go sit down and watch the whole interview.
Unnatural activities, because at one point he was at a Diddy party. Now, mind you, TD Jakes has a movie production company, so he's in Hollywood, and he has his part of house, whatever.
Let me say this so I can set the stage and it'll answer your question.
I didn't even ask the question. And what happened?
Where Judge Joe Brown go?
Is this
there he go. Yo, he just magically pooped.
Oh no.
All right, so TD Jakes, I don't know why.
Let me say this. This is what I want to say. All of those people worried about their messed up lives and whether they're going to burn in hell that want to get some relief from their anxiety. who are getting pimped by that man who's taking all of that money from them that he ought to be giving back to them or raising money, using to raise money for them. That is just disgraceful. And I got enough preachers in my family to know pulpit pimping when I see it.
Close that.
Now, what did he allegedly do that he probably did?
Your first statement, hold it, because I want to swing back to that because I want to show his website to back up what you're saying, right? Because you're right. So,
I don't want to offend nobody, but my whole life, right? As I was growing up, I always asked why was the money so important in these churches, right? And I visited different churches. People say there's good churches out here and stuff like that, but the bad experiences that I've had, and I'm gonna say bad experiences because it's so boring, and the stuff they talk about, it's kind of like, can we know the truth? Why y'all get so offended when we ask questions? Why you call us crazy when we ask a question? Why not just tell us the truth? Y'all want to sit here, give bits and parts of the Bible and not really explain it. So it's crazy as shit because, like, when it comes to the churches, like I said, every time I come across somebody that is part of a church, it doesn't matter what type of church they in, what type of religion they have. Their biggest and main focus is to try to get somebody converted. That's my opinion. That's how I feel. It's like their focus is that. Like, they don't even hear what you got to say or the questions that you're asking. But I've noticed that the pastors, the priests, and all of them got these up to date cars. They got these nice luxury houses, and I could just keep going down. And they supposed to be helping. Man, I can keep going deeper. I got so many theories when it comes to this, and I'm gonna say theories because when it comes to the Catholic churches, I think it goes deeper.
Dr. Umar Johnson, he went on this podcast, the Joe Button podcast, and he was talking about the church, Dr. Umar, on why he doesn't believe in Christianity or black religion. Okay, let me play this.
That's what you said. My problem with black religion is threefold. You take three things from black people that we can't afford to waste and can't never get back. Number one is money. You take too much resources. Every black church should have three institutions. You should have a school for our kids, a bank to invest in our people, and you should have a community garden to feed our people good food. Every church should have those three. If you are bringing in at least $250,000 a year in tithes and you ain't got a school, a bank, and a garden, you a goddamn.
Judge Joe Brown was like, yo, man, if I had this man in front of me, I would smack the shit out of him with my cowboy hat. Dr. Umar Johnson be on point with a lot of his shit, but he's just out here. He's somebody else he's another advocate that's out here just for profit. Like, we've noticed a lot of his stuff. Like, he's still building a school that he's never built. That John's still standing there, and they haven't done nothing with it. The same way that Hassan Campbell came on here saying he was going to do this. Dr. Umar Johnson came on here saying he was going to do this. There's a whole bunch of people on here saying they're going to do that. And what's crazy is these people out here doing all this, and they've become famous for what they've done and what they've said. Makes it hard on the people that are actually trying to build things for the youth in the community and are trying to bring resources for them. That's the messed up part about it. These are the people, Charleston White, all of them is what y'all like. Y'all like the drama. Y'all like the beef. Y'all like the bullshit.
And fraud. I don't care who you are. Remember what I said, 250K. If you less than 250K, you should still be doing something. But I'm not going to hold you to the same standard. But if you're $250,000 that you can depend on annually, you should have some institutions for the people. So number one, they take too much money. Number two, Joe, they take too much of our time. You don't get your time back. You can make that money back. You can't make your time back. Bible study, Sunday service, Sunday morning service, Sunday night service, gospel choir. Why are you taking all this time and you're not giving us nothing? Wow. And the third thing that they take from us that we can't afford to waste and have misuse is hope. The black church abuses our hope by constantly making you feel Jesus or Muhammad want to come and make everything right when the time is right. And that's why black religion plays right into the hand of the white power structure.
All churches. That's where I disagree with him. All churches do it. All churches. It's not one church. Like the one problem that I do agree with a lot of people that he has, he just makes it seem like it's just one culture. When all cultures have the same problem, in my opinion.
You know why? Because it has black people thinking they don't have to do shit but wait and pray in order to change their circumstances. And that's why Napoleon Bonaparte, and I'm a fan of Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte, the white man's greatest military strategist, said what? Religion is what keeps the poor man from killing the rich one. Yes, indeed. No, religion ain't nothing but mind control. Nobody has ever opened up a church to liberate.
Religion right now is causing division. And if y'all don't see it, y'all need to, you know what? I'm not even gonna say wake up. Stay in bed like y'all are. Stay in bed, stay asleep, because y'all can't walk around while y'all blindfolded.
Churches were created to control minds. You can't show me a religion or a religious organization that believes in free thought and liberation of consciousness. Every religion is a mind control institution.
Malcolm X said it's nationalism that we need, right?
Yeah.
He said
I wanted to get
religion.
your
Yep,
thoughts on
I knew I
that.
wasn't wrong. He says religion. Malcolm says nationalism. As we the people, what do y'all think that is really needed? Nationalism or religion? Because religion isn't doing nothing but causing division right now.
Said that we used to talk about that all the time back in the 1960s. That was a frequent discussion at Black Student Union meetings, Black Student Alliance meetings around the city of Los Angeles and San Diego. San Francisco, they were getting high and they couldn't focus too well. So
Mm-hmm.
here's what it is. But no, I mean, yeah, that's what it is. See, black religion has been used to pacify the Negro. They get mad enough to do something, but the preacher calms them down and he gives them a release for their frustration and aggression. So they passively endure one more week.
Mm-hmm.
Endure until you die and get your pie in the sky. It's interesting how black folk pray. They beg. Oh, please, Lord, I've been praying powerful hard 4 hours a day, every day. I've been giving 25% tithes, Lord, please. White people sit down and say, Lord, I have
That's why
done
he was
your
here
work,
shaking his
done
head.
your deeds, spread your words. I have been a good follower. I am appealing to you to honor our compact and deliver to me what I need. Bye. Amen.
But you're right. I have to agree with you because everything that was said in that video about Dr. Umar, you have been
Mhm.
saying. Um, and why
There are
don't
some good preachers, but there's some pimps.
right?
Look, let me say this so I can clarify this. I got high when I was practicing law, it's been about 35 years ago. This church had a problem. They had, in a fit of zeal, turned the deed over to the preacher. The preacher died. He had one son who was gay, a half son,
Hey,
son. And he had another son who was his half brother, just got out the penitentiary, who literally been a pimp and a burglar and did some armed robberies.
hey,
They just got out of the penitentiary after doing 27 years. So I had to sit there and help them do this thing. They decided to have each of them preach 3 sermons over the course of 6 weeks. So the pimps over here and the other guy over here, who
he
was
said the
overtly
pimps.
gay, and he couldn't keep his hands off the boys in the church, and the other one
What the
couldn't keep
fuck?
his hands out of the collection plate. And I built a lot of character by not laughing my head off watching this circus go on for 6 weeks, but they were paying me. So the pimp is trying to get it, and the one that wants to seduce the boys is trying to get it. So the congregation is supposed to be voting on who's going to be the new preacher. They wound up pimping the one that got out of the prison after 27 years.
Yo, that
Oh,
shit is crazy.
who had literally been a pimp. And would tell the congregation, I was a pimp. I had many hoes out on the street.
because
And
they
I'm
have
going, wait. You love this one. Talk about straight face. I'm going to
Yeah.
develop in this church some hoes for Jesus. Because I'm going to be
He says some hoes for Jesus. Praise the Lord. I can't with just Joe Brown. You gotta love this man, yo. This story is shout out. Blessings, realest blessings. Yo, he says some hoes for Jesus.
pimping the word so we all get to heaven. I'm going to get us to get an
OMG.
orgasm of spirituality.
What?
I want volunteers for my bunch of hoes. Who's going to be my bottom hoe? And I'm sitting there, keep it straight.
OMG, yo, a priest that said who gonna be my bottom hole. You imagine going to a church and you hear you hear a priest talking like he a pimp. I can't. I swear to God, that'll be the one occasion that I will go live because I'll be shocked. Like literally, like I've seen some shit. I've seen some shit at church, but I've never seen a priest in the movies. But in church, damn.
Straight face. Do not bust out laughing. This man is actually preaching this as a sermon, trying to become the pastor of this church, which he became pastor of the church.
Wow.
So I guess he recruited some hoes for Jesus. But
I'm dead.
you know, I actually think I refunded some fees. I said I can't put up with this anymore. I said I refuse to reduce myself to being involved in this. So yeah, we do have that kind of thing.
I'm dead. Shout out to the real Dana for that interview with Judge Joe Brown. Yo, that shit was funny. I'm sorry. I couldn't help. I had to laugh. Like I can't picture going into a church in here. It won't shock me, but to not bust out and laugh, I wouldn't be able to hold back. I don't know about y'all, but me personally, I wouldn't be able to hold back, y'all. But he's not lying, yo. It be like that. I've had conversations about this. When it comes to religion, it does get kind of touchy for people. I wish it wouldn't get touchy, but it does get touchy. So listen, that's why I don't hit the subject as much unless I could sit here and really speak on it. But yeah, I feel the same way though. That's why me personally, when I get asked, I tell everybody the truth. I don't want nobody to feel offended. I don't have a problem with people that have a religion, that believe in a religion, right? At all. I just don't try to convert me because it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work. If anything, you're gonna have me just walk away from you because I don't mind listening to you. I don't mind, trying to understand what you're telling me. But when now you're trying to tell me that I should do this or I need to do this, nah. I should be able to express how I feel. You shouldn't feel offended if I'm telling you I don't want to go to church. I don't feel like, how can I explain? I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in what people are saying. Like I believe in God. That's it. I know that somebody created us, but nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, but so much going on, and like I was saying the other day, on my live, men hashtag mental health is serious, and a lot of men get put down when they express how they feel or when they're talking about mental health or they're speaking on their stories. I don't feel like they should, but they do.
Is at the top line of the description box. Go get yours right now. Actually, a couple current things going on right now. Yeah.
My bad, my bad, my bad. But yeah, like it's been a rough year. Like I have told y'all, like don't give up for anything in this world, guys. Like I told y'all, I've had these conversations. The panel is open for anybody that wishes to come up and talk. Um, like I said earlier, I'm not going to change what I'm doing on my podcast or on my channel for anybody or because they feel some type of way. If you feel some type of way um, with what I'm saying, listen, man, express how you feel and keep it moving. Um, I've also told a lot of people, listen, man, I keep the past in the past. Whatever is toxic, I Kobe them Jones out the window. I mean, I throw them Jones out the window and Kobe it into a trash can. Like, we don't got time for negativities. We don't got time to hash the past, you know, to sit here. Me personally, I don't apologize. Me, when I find out the truth, I keep walking. Like if you fake, you fake. I ain't got time for fake love. And guess what? That shit is at an all-time high nowadays. Me personally, I know that everybody that says that they are everybody that rides for you isn't for you. I'm gonna put it like that. There's people out here that's gonna tell you they love you, and the next minute you find yourself pulling a knife out your back. We have to watch our circles. I'm not gonna sit here and cry victim for shit. Like if something happened, if I made a mistake, if I did something wrong, I'm gonna admit to my flaw. Fuck that shit. I ain't got time to sit here and lie about shit or hide shit. We're not little kids no more. Like little kids do that type of shit. And and there's a lot of people on here, like I was saying a while ago, like there's a lot of people on here fake. Like we really have to like fall back and watch. Like me, I've learned to take my time, and when I'm hopping on these new panels that I'm learning about, just fall back and watch them and observe. And if I find out that they're not my cup of tea, then listen, man, bye. I don't need to be subbed up to this. I'll move on to the next one. But I'm not gonna sit here and bring and bash people down like a lot of people are doing. No, listen, man, you're not. That's not my cup of tea. I'm out of here. That's it. That's simple. There's people on here that carry their feelings in their sleeve. They feel some type of way. They want an honest opinion from people, but when people say it, yo, it's like World War III got unleashed on people. Like people cannot handle people telling people the truth, and that's the biggest problem that we have nowadays. Hold on a second, let me see. Eh, let me find. I was about to show a video. I want to thank y'all for having patience with the show today. All right, now I don't know if y'all have heard about what's going on with Kanye West. There's people saying that Kanye West has gone crazy. I don't know what y'all think about Kanye West, but listen, I've said this before, and I don't get tired of saying it. Kanye West is telling the truth, right? And a lot of the shit that he's saying, it seems like he's crazy, but he's really not crazy. It's just that the timing, the way he's doing it, he people don't get it. This man sold his soul to the devil, and now he's regretting it, in my opinion. Now, I want to give a shout out to Papa Doug. And before we end the year, because like I told y'all, this is my last live for 2023. I will hop on people's panels to show support, show some love. I'm going to be sharing some videos for the next couple of days while I'm uploading my content here on YouTube. Because like I told y'all, I made my main page into this page. So now we're going to have a mixture of old content and new content. So thanks to all of y'all for rocking out with a shorty and having patience with her. Let's check out what Papa Doug has to say about what's going on with Kanye West. What do y'all think about Kanye West? Do y'all think he's crazy? Y'all think he needs help? I feel as though he needs help, but I don't think that he's crazy in the way that y'all thinking.
you have the Vatican, the Pope. Under that, you have the financial groups that control all your shit. BlackRock, Vanguard. After that, you have Putin. You have Trump. You have all this shit. And after that, you got what all this shit is. Entertainment. Hollywood.
Yo, what's happening, man? It's your boy Papa Duck, man. Listen, man, I know a lot of y'all don't like Kanye West, but the shit he doing right now, boy, I've been waiting a long time for this, boy. I've been waiting a long time for somebody that's high up in this industry as him to sit and talk about these same old dog ass motherfuckers, dog. The same motherfucker that got your ass going to work every day for the rest of your life. The same motherfucker that got you, your mom.
Yo, Papa Duck be spitting them bars, so y'all better listen to what he's saying and don't let this shit get over y'all heads. Don't get in y'all feelings. Y'all listen, man. If you agree with him, say you agree with him. If you disagree with him, just say you disagree with him. Don't talk shit. Be real.
Mama, your sister, your daddy laid up in the hospital because they got cancer. The same motherfucker that got your children going to these schools teaching them that bullshit. And ain't nobody stepping in the ring with him, man. That man talked about every motherfucking thing that a lot of people scared to talk about. See,
they'll film me, but they trying to program them. They had the Louis Vuitton, Bernard Arnault, fuck you. Alexander Arnault, fuck you. Francois Pinault, fuck you. Dimna, fuck you. Fuck Balenciaga. Fuck Cedric.
Buy the Yeezy Pods. Buy the Yeezy Pods.
Fuck Gap. And fuck Adidas. Nigga.
the thing about me, Will, do what I don't like. Y'all are sitting and listen to Charleston White.
Damn, he put Adidas in his jaw. If I ever have to stop rocking Adidas, I like Adidas.
Ass talk about nothing. Then when a bitch really saying something, oh, it's all this. Oh, he wore a hat that said this, and he had White Lives Matter on the shirt. Man, fuck that. That nigga bringing notoriety to the very people that got you oppressed, the very people that got you fucked up in your only life. They control your life. These are the people he going up against by his motherfucking self. You talking about a bitch from Chicago? This nigga ain't never sold dope a day in his life. But he got the biggest nuts right now, and he putting it all on the line. Bitch, I got to double salute that. Look at the shit that he talking about.
No, what you gonna do for us? What they gonna do for us? Y'all niggas done voted Democrat all these motherfucking times. These y'all niggas showing with the LB show. These niggas is colonizers, nigga. The French own 80% of the.
Damn, I ain't do a video like this in a while. Papa Duck now. See, I'm gonna react to the video just like this too, but not with what you're saying, because I got my own opinions. And I agree with Papa Duck. But I have a question though. Like he exposes a lot. So was he telling the truth when he said that Rosa Parks wasn't the reason that, you know, the boycott happened and all that? Because that made me start doing a lot of more research, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, yo, is Kanye West tripping on this one?
Banks in Africa, nigga. That's why I just met with MBS, nigga, head of Saudi, nigga. We don't have to bow to this shit, nigga. Okay, it's 60 million of us in America, 60 million Jews in the world. 50% of our deaths is abortion. 25% of us go to prison. Raise one hand if you don't know one nigga.
And he is not lying. As you see, a lot of y'all are scared to do y'all research. And when people hit y'all and smack y'all in the face with this reality and with the facts, y'all get mad. On this right here, I can sit here and I can say, I agree with Kanye West.
Prison, one nigga got locked up and one nigga poor. Wait, raise your hand if you don't know one person got abortion. Now I tell you, if it was in a Jewish mother on Friday with no fucking, everybody raised their hands.
Do you understand what you just heard, bro? How many people you know in the industry, as big as he is, that's saying the shit that he's saying? This is what I'm trying to tell.
I agree with Papa Duck on this, but what took Kanye West so long? I feel as though that he didn't start exposing until they didn't start threatening him with his kids. He should have did it way before. He knew it was coming.
Tell y'all, this is how much these niggas got they tails tucked between their ass, bro. This is how much control these people got over us. When I say us, I'm talking about all of us. Yo, for what color you are, bro. You have to think that these small group of people are the ones that's controlling your one single only fucking life. It ain't like you gonna die and come back. These motherfuckers got you stressing out. I told you about the girl, the lady who just took her 3-year-old and jumped in front of a train because she couldn't pay her bills. All this depression, fucked up food, false diagnosis. Bro, these the people that's controlling this shit, and this nigga going up against them by himself. Nigga, I got the double salute. I'll be a sucker ass nigga if I don't salute this dude. Cause I know for a fact you can't name me now other person in his position, as big as he is, saying the shit that he's saying. Name one.
Gotta give it to him. I agree with Papa Doug 100%, but why fight now? Like, there's a lot of people say he sold his soul, and then now that karma's hitting him, and now he's fighting back. I mean, it could be, but it's crazy because it's confusing with Kanye West. I'm gonna be very honest. I get confused with him. Like, he be having these little temper tantrums out of nowhere, and it's like, what the fuck? But could it be that he's just doing that so he could stay alive?
I'm waiting. Name one. Ain't now.
He ain't wrong. And the ones that have tried to speak up, Michael Jackson's dead. What's this nigga's name? When I remember his name, I'll tell y'all.
One of these big time rappers, entertainers, or none of that. Only thing they gonna do is apologize. Oh, we want to apologize. Who you apologizing to? The same people that control your motherfucking life.
Get political opinion. I made more money to show you that money ain't nothing. It's our money, nigga. It's our country, nigga. It's how they stole it from us. It's pyramids in St. Louis, nigga, Missouri. They stole it. All the shit. America just the latest bitch that been ran through so many times. The Greeks hit her. Mansa Musa hit her. We had her. The Indians and shit. The motherfucking pilgrims. It's the Jewish niggas. They dress the same, nigga. It's the same shit. That's a story. They put us in the school. The Rothschilds. I know Jay-Z back here like, oh, this nigga gonna die now. I've been here for a year, my nigga.
He ain't lying on that part either. But people are scared to speak on these topics.
They can't fucking touch me. Why? Because God covered me.
These the same people that have put rappers out talking about other rappers. The same people that put poison in the food, put poison in the air. Been telling y'all about chemtrails forever. Some of y'all used to laugh at me, but now this shit all over. Go look up geoengineering. Gonna blow your mind how much toxic shit in the motherfucking air. Metals. These are the same people that's doing this shit, bro. The same people that taking your taxpayers' money, sending that shit to other countries right in front of your face. These are the people that dude going up against. In the rain by himself. Michael Jordan ass ain't gonna do it. Look how much money we done put in Michael Jordan's pocket. You think Michael Jordan finna put it all on the line for you niggas?
Nah, he said on the interview. He said he's making these shoes. Us, the poor people in the hood, is paying for it. And guess what he's making? More prisons. And guess what we doing? Ignoring what he said.
You silly if you think that.
You get what I'm saying? Harley Pasternak pusher, your trainer. Harley Pasternak, Jay-Z. You get what I'm saying? And then niggas be hanging around these niggas just for the money or some Mike Rubin shit. Slap the shit out of Mike Rubin. I see that nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, fuck these niggas, bro. Fuck these niggas, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my Farrakhan Don shit right now, bro. Because
I smile when I hear a motherfucker like that going up against these motherfuckers. I wish I had a bigger platform or a bigger bag or whatever. I wish I had the same shit he had. I'd be doing the same thing. Just like I do every day, going at their motherfucking ass.
This is what y'all been waiting for. Drake, this is what you've been waiting for. Jay-Z, this is what you've been waiting for. Kim, this is what you've been waiting for. All you niggas, look, let me tell you something. This is the way the world works.
God is using him right now.
Okay, be quiet for a second. Let's for a second.
I love you, but okay.
No, you got to get over. Hey, sorry.
He said, "Get her."
God rules the world. Then under that, you got 1,000-year-old families, Medici.
Now, if you're scared, you're scared. If you don't understand, you don't understand. If you're ignorant, you're ignorant. But just know, you ain't gonna find nobody else in this industry like him. I got to give it up to Kyrie Irving. He stood up to him.
You give it to them, but they came down and apologized afterwards. That's where I see the problem. See, I agree with Papa Duck But they spoke up, and well, Kanye West now, he ain't back down now. He's actually doubling down. But Kyrie and all of them, like they sat here and apologized. Colin Kaepernick did the same thing, gave a knee, and then was forced to apologize, and he did it. Kevin Hart, how many times he hasn't spoken up? He's a celebrity. Came back and apologized. Too many of these celebrities coming back and apologizing. I get it, but they need to stand 10 toes down on what they say, just like you do, Papa Duck.
You know what I'm saying? You got people that say little shit here and there, but the way he doing it and the shit he talking about, come on, dog. Y'all know motherfucker well ain't nobody else finna do it.
Yeah. I'm looking for y'all. I gotta say we with you. You're not with me. No one's with me because no one's really with me.
No, Papa Duck did this reaction 2 weeks ago, right? I think a couple of days ago somebody posted. I have to find it, and I'll do a reaction to it, to both the videos together of Kanye, what he's saying, and what the person uploaded. Like, that's my problem with all these celebrities. Y'all come back and still apologize. Y'all still kiss ass after y'all expose the truth.
This is me and God. That's what I'm saying. And I'm still alive. Let's go. And I'm still alive. You ain't post. You ain't with me. You ain't post. When I couldn't see my kids, y'all ain't post. Y'all ain't stop the Adidas shit. Y'all niggas let Adidas.
So me, I'm a double salute him. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. And if anybody at his stature, not even on his stature, anybody that can go up against these motherfuckers and speak against these motherfuckers and put it out there like that.
I'm gonna be very honest. Papa Duck, there is somebody here on YouTube, but on the process of his message, there's a lot of YouTubers beefing with him. And I feel as though he shouldn't give them the attention and just keep on with his message. But he does beef back and forth with the regular YouTubers. See, I came across somebody called Kwame Brown maybe 2 years ago, right? And I didn't even know this man was a basketball player until after I did my research and all that. Like, he said it when he did the interview with Tasha K, when I found out about him and stuff like that. But I had to do more research to find out what this man was, about before I hit the panel and stuff like that. So I had to do my research. Man got a good message. He's talking about coding. He's talking about all this stuff, right? So shout out to Kwame Brown. And me, in my opinion, personally, I feel as though if he stopped giving these YouTubers, these trolls that are hating the day of light, he can get somewhere with his message, because he has exposed a lot of the stuff that's happening in the NBA, the NFL, the with the celebrities and much more. He has exposed a lot of that stuff too. But my thing is, these trolls, the people that get in the way of y'all talking your message. And it happens like every time somebody comes out here and exposes something that's happening really bad, whether it's in Hollywood, the music industry, it doesn't matter where. You got a whole bunch of haters, a whole bunch of trolls trying to stop the message.
Right though, I ain't never seen this a day in my life. This is when you pass death, cause we all gonna die. So all that shit about he gonna die and all that, man, you gonna die too, motherfucker. But what he did with his time and what he doing right now, he done won me over. And I'm gonna say that for me, you hear me? Because of what he talking about. Because of these the same people that put their pants on just like we do, but they got the chokehold on us in this world, right? And it started from what they call usury. Go look up the word usury. This is how the motherfucking Jews got their money. It's called usury. The shit is illegal, but come on, bro. Anyway, man, common sense ain't so common, man. And every time you talk some real shit, don't nobody want to hear. Bitch rather hear a lie than to hear the truth. But I'm going to stand on this, homie. Straight up and down. And if anybody got any sense and understand what he's talking about, they'll understand. We need this notoriety. We need more people of his stature. Fuck what they did in the past to come and put light on this shit. But y'all are rather listen to Charleston White and other motherfuckers who ain't got a motherfucking thing to say, bro. Because the world is ran by the devil. This is the devil playground. A bitch got so much to say.
And he's not lying. Y'all look up to Charleston White. Y'all look up to Hassan Campbell. Y'all look up to these YouTubers that don't bring nothing positive to the table. That all they bring is nothing more than just toxic shit to the table. They tell our kids to do the wrong shit. They sit here and it's just crazy because they're manipulating our kids and us, we're letting them. We talk so much shit, but we letting them get to our kids. We ain't doing nothing. How many of y'all is actually speaking up? And the ones that are speaking up ain't really speaking up because they too scared to actually not have filters in their mouth. They hold back. Don't hold back. Speak with your chest out. Let it out. Listen, in the beginning, I was like that too. I was scared. I was nervous to speak up and say certain shit. But no, like, listen, especially here on YouTube, after I learned how to fight a lot of these strikes and shit, there's nothing holding me back now. I'm gonna speak my mind. Ain't nothing gonna censor me. Nothing gonna hold me back. Especially when it comes to these schools, yo. It's too much going on, and a lot of us are scared to touch on certain topics because certain people get offended. Well, if they offended, they shouldn't be right there in your channel. They shouldn't be involved in the conversation. If they're going to feel some type of way, there's other platforms and other places they can go to. There's people out here that don't want to hear the positive shit. They want to start some drama, but in the wrong place. What you here for? The drama's over there. So it's like, damn if you do and damn if you don't.
When you go out there and do something stupid and ignorant, all this, all that. When you do something righteous, bro, when you do something for us right, that shit don't get no that shit don't get no news coverage. That shit don't get no notoriety. Bitch don't want to hear that shit or nothing. Bitch want to hear ski and all this other shit. Cause the world is ran by the devil, dog. I don't expect everybody to understand this video, man. But if for those who do, like I say, man, I played y'all the clips. Y'all heard it for yourself. And it take big motherfucking balls to do that. I mean, big balls to do that. To put it all on the line. To put your life on the line. Why you got some motherfucker boy ain't finna put $100 on the line, bitch? You can believe that. Anyway, man, it's your boy Papa Dog. Like I said, man, I hope he continue to shed light on this shit.
Yep, he not lying. A lot of y'all too scared to grab y'all cojones and hold them in the right place and do what y'all gotta do. There's too many males out here that are scared to speak up and stand up to the plate. Like I don't understand why. Like they see a little kid out there. No man, speak up. My baby pops ain't scared to speak up. He'll tell the child, put them in their place, and then take them to their mama and let them know what the hell they did. He ain't gonna put his hands on them. He ain't gotta curse them out. And the crazy part, he does it respectfully. Shout out to Nate the Great Podcast. Cause he's somebody, he's been on here on this social media, he said it. Same shit. Same shit I've seen my baby pops do out here on these streets. This man comes on here and talks about on social media. It starts within our homes. Like, we want these kids to give respect, but a lot of these parents ain't doing what they gotta do. They ain't disciplining their kids. They ain't talking to their kids. They ain't giving their kids the time of day. They're not doing shit but waiting and expecting for everybody else to do it for them or give it to them. Too many of these women arguing and fighting. Like, listen, man, and if it's vice versa, there's men out here doing it too, which I think a lot of you men should just walk away. No, not get disrespect. Listen, man, I know how it feels to get disrespectful, to get disrespected. My bad. And I know how hard it is to walk away. But I've had a lot of men take me under their wing, and not a lot. I'm gonna say a few men. 2 or 3 men is a few men. Take me under their wing and tell me, listen, man, if a man sits here, he goes back and forth with you, he's not a real man. Why is you going back and forth with a woman? And I sat here and I had to think about it like, damn, you're right. Like a real man is not going to go back and forth with a woman at all. Your feelings is hurt. All right, say what you got to say and walk away. A lot of y'all men cannot walk away. A lot of y'all men stay there. A lot of y'all men would sit here and like go back and forth with a woman. And just because y'all hurt, y'all would sit here and be the first ones to put your hands on a woman. This female is wrong. Walk away. That's something I'm trying to teach my son. Like just walk away. And I'm so proud that he's doing it. But it's so hard. Even he's telling me, Mom, it's hard to walk away from a little girl that just keeps poking and won't leave you alone. No matter how many times you tell her to leave you alone. Then even when you get to the point where you call her ugly or you say stupid or you say this, they come even harder. So that's where I was saying the other day, and I was telling a lot of women, like, look, listen, man, it's time for y'all to become the role models for y'all childs, for these young ladies. Because y'all sitting here and letting them have role models like Cardi B, Meg the Stallion, Nicki Minaj, all these celebrity rappers that are out here that don't give a fuck about your child because the music that you're letting your daughter listen to, they wouldn't let their freaking kids listen to. And y'all don't seem to put that through y'all heads. They don't listen, they don't let their kids listen to this shit. And regardless of anything, whether you let your child listen to it or not, your child's going to hear certain shit when they go to school. Like my daughter, she came the other day and I had to talk to her and explain to her what a song was about. Y'all know about Lil Mabu and this girl Krishan Rock? Another one that a lot of females say, oh, this is a role model, this is a role model. Krishan Rock should not be no young lady's role model. And I'm going to get into that in 1 minute. But this song that they got out, what is it that I flew her on a plane to something and I signed my name on her titties, whatever that song is called, right? That new song that's right now going viral. Little kids in the schoolyard listening and singing to that song, and I had to explain this to my daughter. No, I don't want you listening and singing that song. That ain't for you. Keep listening to the type of music that you listening to. I love the fact that my daughter listens to them kid music and watches her little kid shows and stuff like that. And she's not out here trying to do grown up things. I'm proud of my daughter. I'm very proud for her being her age, for behaving her age and listening to what I'm telling her. Because a lot of kids out here don't. And it's because there is not just it's not just your influence in their lives, the influence that there's influence around them from different people. And sometimes we don't even realize that. There's different people out here that have an influence on your child and you don't even know it. They could not they don't just look up to you sometimes. They may also look up to this person, and that's where you got to be careful, because if this person makes them feel more comfortable and safer than what you do, this is the person they're going to follow the footsteps of. That's why we need more male leaders out here. We need more women leaders out here. More of them. There's some, but not enough. And y'all women need to let these men be a part of these kids' lives. Unless they're a deadbeat baby dad or an abusive father, let these men be a part of their lives. Let them do them. You do you. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. And it's vice versa for the males out there. It's vice versa. Right now we're going to be working on shirts for the men for the hashtag mental health. Because we hear y'all men out here. A lot of these men go through a lot of stuff. A lot of these men go through a lot of pain. And us women ain't listening. The same way when we lose a child and they lose a child, they feel the same. Like we get pain, they get pain. They hurt the same way we hurt. So we need to stop thinking that these men, like we want equal opportunities. We want equality. We want this, we want that. We want to be treated just like men, right? Let me ask y'all a question. Why can't y'all see yourselves in their shoes for 1 second? Why can't y'all see that they hurt just like us when they lose a child or when they lose a loved one, when they get cheated on, when they get played? Men are allowed to cry too. Not all men are going to cry in front of you. A lot of these men cry behind closed doors and we don't see them. A lot of these men have a hard time coming out here with their truth and speaking their truth because of how they're treated on social media and out here. Because they can't speak their truth, because it's not possible for a man to go through some shit. It's not possible for a man to cry. It's not possible for a man to cook. Man, we need to stop thinking old school, because that's the way the old heads used to think. We got so much negativity. We think with so much negativity. There's so much hate in our hearts that we can't see what's going on around us. Like, y'all People nowadays sit here and they kiss ass to the people that are not for them. And the ones that are there for them, they push them to the side like if they're nothing. We need to learn that the pain that this person causes us, if we don't unleash it on them, right? It's too late to unleash it on the next person that walks into our lives, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, or a family member. I've had so many people come at my neck and say, "Yo, Ray, why do you keep saying that water is thicker than blood?" Because to me, water is thicker than blood. To me, family is not who you're born into. Family is not who you related to. Family is what you make of it. That is what family is. Like, I want y'all to hear my song real quick. Like, this song relates to everything that I'm talking about right now. And then we're going to react to another one of Judge Joe Brown's interviews. Yep. Like, even in the song, it says it. Not everybody that rides for you is for you. Even your own family turns against you. And like I said, I've always said that. Fact to me, water is thicker than blood. And can't nobody change that. Family is not who you were born into. Family is what you make of it. I created my own family. Listen, man, like, you live and you learn. You can't sit here and how can I say, just trust everybody. You gotta watch your surroundings, watch your circle. And I've said that time after time. Like, and one person that actually helped me see all that is the father of my child. So there's gonna be people out here, and like I told a lot of people, listen, I've been through it here on social media, out here on these streets. Regardless, no matter what you say or what you do on here, they're gonna find a way. Like I've had a couple haters on here. I've had a couple people that I've had to block. So like that ain't stopped me. Like I've been through some shit here on YouTube too. Like I've came across some people that I thought were cool people and they not cool people. Like the first time I decided to put my shield down, you got people trying to sit here and take advantage now. That's why I always keep my shield. Like I trust no one but God. And there's a lot of shit going on. Like I've been talking about lately about how the females, like the females want this, they want equality to men and stuff like this. But as a woman, we can't even put ourselves in their shoes. But I wanted to say that before I ended up going to the Just Joe Brown video. So let me go look for it real quick. That's not Judge. I didn't even know that Obama and Brad Pitt were cousins. I know Trump is related to a lot of them presidents out there, yo. I forgot who they were. I did a live on it. Oh, 1 second, because this was a couple days ago. Damn, where you go? I was just watching it earlier. Let me go to the history. What? Yo, I just had the whole interview on this, and now it's not here. This is 8 months ago. No, I'm looking for the interview that he did 13 days ago. Shit. All right, so since that interview is not popping up, let's do this one because I don't know what the hell happened. That's it. Yep. All right, so give me a second, guys. All right, I do apologize for that. Let's get started on reacting on this video, and I'm gonna give my perspective.
Were physicians. You saw Alex Haley's grandfather in Roots when supposedly the white ancestor was down there.
All right, so shout out to I Never Knew TV. So they say that this guy actually let Just Joe Brown talk without no interruptions. So let's react to a little bit of this.
All right, Judge. Welcome to I Never Knew TV. Right. Thanks for coming out here. First question I have: is it true that your grandfather worked with Alex Haley's grandfather?
Yeah, they were partners. Both of them were physicians. You saw Alex Haley's grandfather in Roots when supposedly the white ancestor was down there suffering from a heart attack, and the cousin didn't want him to touch his grandpa. They practiced in Jackson, Tennessee.
And also, did they both have to leave due to racial violence?
Well, they didn't leave Jackson, Tennessee, but my grandfather and an uncle murdered two deputy sheriffs for supposedly participating in the lynching of another uncle, and that was way back when. See,
Yo, see, for those of y'all that be like, oh, the slavery didn't exist and this and that, man, even Judge Joe Brown has a story to say. See, like, it's crazy. Like I said earlier, y'all say Malcolm X this, Malcolm X that, but this man gave his life. Ain't none of y'all even realizing or recognizing. How can I say accepting the fact that this man gave his life for us so that we can know the truth, and the truth is out there. We just decide to ignore it. For whatever reason it is, we decide to ignore it.
grandfather was born in 1850. Well,
Damn.
that's 11 years before the Civil War started. So he made it to 100 plus. I was sitting on the side of his bed when he died. I was the last one to see him.
So after the murder of the deputies, how
Damn.
did it work out for him? He had to go on a run or something?
Well, he went on the run, put his age back 15 years, went to medical school, and he had been a teacher before that. So he and Haley's grandfather wound up together, and it was a kind of an interesting thing. They had a business partner that was one of the first black pharmacists in the state of Tennessee. So they went through him for all of their pharmaceuticals. And let's say one of the descendants from that interesting triangle wound up doing business with Alex Haley later on too. So it was interesting. Alex Haley was from right outside of Memphis.
So you come from a bloodline of strong militant people and intellectual people.
Well, yeah, and then as my Choctaw grandmother, she used to laugh at all the colored members of the family. And she said, "Oh, you colored folk, you get mad when white folk do stuff to you. We just took a scalp and nailed it to the lodgepole and smiled." She wound up benefiting the black cause. There is a historical black college and university, well, yes, in Jackson, Tennessee, known as Lane College. It was founded in 1862, and she wound up giving a third of the land to them that they're built on. And see, I had a great grandmother that was head librarian, well, a great aunt who was head librarian. My grandmother wound up being on faculty there, and my mother wound
There's a lot of history in Judge Joe Brown family.
up being a librarian there before she went to, well, Lincoln University, and then Tuskegee Institute for a brief while before she and my father wound up going to California. And my old man was from Kansas City, and his father, my paternal grandfather, he was one of Bishop Mason's first disciples, and he took Kojic to Kansas City 1896. So I'm 76 years old. So that drops all that timeline way back and the bread late in the family.
I wanted to go back to this the uncle. Like, did he ever tell you the story how he got away? That's pretty wild during that time to kill a white person and
It
escape
wasn't
from it.
that hard. They didn't have electronic communications. Nobody had photographs that they could post up on a post office. And if
Yo, that's crazy. That's true though. Like that's why it was harder to catch people back in the days. They ain't have no social media like they do now, and they ain't have rappers snitching on themselves.
you got out of the immediate area, you were gone. And if you paid attention, you could hunt. You knew how to get through forest and swamp and back roads and travel after dark, navigate. Remember, this is in an era when a lot of people had combat experience from the Civil War, so it's not unusual. In fact, it's interesting at one point when black folk were one third of the country's population, and you had all that untamed territory from the Mississippi all the way to the Pacific West, and a lot of Native Americans that could have been allied with. The country's history would have been a lot different if black folk had, shall we say, taken advantage of the opportunity. Everybody, by the way, in the family managed to escape slavery without Master Lincoln having to intervene.
Did you ever hear the stories in regards to the means they used to escape slavery?
Yeah, on my father's side, well, my great grandfather decapitated his slave master and cut the slave master's wife's hands off because she had touched him. He escaped to Canada and he came back, and one of them was an Irishman. The other great grandfather was a Choctaw. And then there was my great grandfather on my mother's side, who was a Yoruba district sub chieftain. He got kidnapped after the slave trade was over and brought over to the
It's all right.
nascent
Huh?
new union. I think it was 1817, and he wound up having to be freed. So my grandfather on the mother's side was his first kid by his newly acquired, I guess you'd say, wife. He had gotten himself free, so there was a slave owner in the district that did not like freed colored. So he kept tormenting him, and that person went bankrupt. So my great grandfather
Y'all believe that we still live in some type of slavery?
bought his favorite slave mistress and 5 children that she had had with the slave master. So I guess he owned slaves for a while, but he freed her, married her. After he married her, my grandfather was the first one of 6 more that followed. So we got around.
You got elected to 2 8-year terms as a criminal court judge in Tennessee, right?
That's right.
State recidivism rate for felons was 80%, and in your courtroom, you dropped it down to 18%. The question I have, can you explain for our viewers? Please explain what recidivism is before we get to the next part.
Recidivism is repeat. In other words, if you are a convicted felon in most places in the country, you'll be back. That's called recidivism. So the rate was 80% of the convicted felons would come back for another round after they got through with their first set of sentences.
Yo, I never understood that. What makes somebody right come home from jail and go right back to jail? Like as bad as they talk about the jail system, what makes y'all men go keep going back? And I'm not speaking on all men. I'm speaking in general. Like if the shoe fits, wear that itch. But what makes men go back once they come home? Like you're free now. Why keep going back?
How did you? How did the implementation of Judge Joe Brown's counseling sessions help to get those
It
numbers
wasn't
down?
just counseling sessions. I became grandfather, uncle, village chieftain, so to speak. And the first thing that you have to have if you want a prosperous community is law and order. I know that sounds an anathema because of the misuse of the term, but it is what it is. You get a group of people together, 4, 5, 6 people in there somewhere, they set up rules. You can look at it in John Wick. Rules are what separate us from the animals. There are consequences. And for some reason, there is a sense of lack of accountability and consequence that is developed, particularly in our community over the last 50 some years. In fact,
Facts. Facts, facts, facts. And I understand what he means. People cannot take accountability for what they do. They cannot accept their mistakes. They cannot accept their flaws. They cannot accept that they have done something wrong, did somebody wrong. Like, why? What is the problem with accepting when you've made a mistake or when you've done something wrong? You lied, you lied. Like, what the fuck? You can't cover the sun with one finger. Once you lie, sooner or later, the truth is going to come out.
across the whole country, which is a part of the thing I've seen develop since the late mid 60s, which is no rules, so certain people can not be held accountable for doing things that used to be against the rules. It's kind of a throw the baby out with the bathwater type situation because it just isn't working. We don't have consequence anymore. Everybody gets a damn participation ribbon. Everybody is supposed to be recognized. There's no shame that's supposed to be evoked, no guilt that's supposed to arise. And everybody just does what they want to do. But you see, when you have lack of accountability, you have lack of purpose. Because if you have purpose, you have to have accountability.
And that's a fact. I want to use that for what's going on here on these YouTube street show. There's a lot of YouTubers on here, right? That come on here as a character. What I mean by that is there's a lot of people on here that come on here and they're not who they say they are. Like for me, everybody knows who I am. You could look me up and find out who I am. There's no shame in my game. I ain't embarrassed about shit, right? And I came on here with a purpose. I came on here with a message to help the youth, a message that, try to get parents together, not just a message. I came on here with a purpose, with a goal, with a mission. Like, yo, let's come together. Let's do this. Because I'm out here walking the streets and I'm trying to get resources for these kids and I'm trying to listen to these kids and I'm trying to figure a way on how can we help them. I'm trying to bring solutions to the table. But there's people out here that pretend to be either an advocate, an activist, or whatever you want to call them, and they are not that. They're out here and they just scamming people. They just playing people. They just using people. For what? To make money on YouTube. They're using people's problems to gain some type of click and view. And that to me is messed up. There's people on here that just don't give a fuck. They'll come on here and talk about people's deceased kids, these people's deceased family members. Like, if you can't keep it between you and this person, then why you even trying? Because you couldn't handle it to begin with. That's why you went from this person and now you're bringing somewhere where it's going to hurt. People don't care about losing their life. Look, I'm going to keep using Hassan Campbell as an example. This man doesn't care about his life and he doesn't care about his family's life. Allegedly, he got shot and that should have sat his ass down. No, he's back at it again. He's not thinking about his kids. He's thinking about making more money, getting more money off of people. And people falling for it. There's more YouTubers on here like that. People coming out here talking about, oh, we creating community gardens, we're feeding the people, we trying to help, we're in here to, justice for the men too. But no, they on here on another purpose. They're here to bring people down, bully people, make people feel like shit. But we can't let those people get to us. There's gonna be people on here that hate and even try to take your style. Like, people on here like cannot take accountability for messing up. They want to pinpoint the finger. And that's why we're not getting nowhere.
responsibility to achieve the purpose. One of the things that I noticed that I addressed and dealt with when I reduced this recidivism rate was you had to go out in the community, you had to go deal with the fact that so many of these boys had not had fathers or uncles or grandfathers.
Peep how he's saying what I just said earlier. We got too many fatherless kids and too many women on here not letting these real men, keyword, real men, do they job.
Present in their lives, and you had to give them man training. Like, what is a man supposed to be about? We're supposed to be into the business of protecting womanhood and promoting further manhood to keep the cycle going for generation after generation. When you see, yo, yeah, like Judge, with no due respect, man, I ain't gonna make it to 24, man. What I got to worry about? Well, young brother, if you think you're a dead man already, you are a hero in the making. What do you mean? Because you work for me now. And the bottom line is, if you don't mind dying, I have a mission for you to die on if you want to take that way. You can that tunnel and kill off the fire breathing Gila monsters that are setting flames to that tunnel, so the smoke clears up and the people you're responsible for can get to the end of the tunnel. So you have a cause, you can be a brave man, and people will revere you instead of saying, glad that dude is gone. Now, that brings us to the other thing that is so rampant in our community. They shot him. I mean, they had no reason to do that. And then for everyone, somebody that's saying that, if you actually check, there's 15, 16, 17 saying, glad they killed the fool. He wasn't doing anything but making life miserable. Uh, I have had juries come back during the liberation and say, uh, while the press is out there,
Listen, man, for those of y'all that are confused, listen, man, I made a little poem right here. This is America, land of the free, where you gotta pay for water, even the air you breathe. Y'all screaming Black Lives Matter, turn around and watch our kids die and cry and ask why. They gotta fly high. Now we gotta be strong enough to storm the weather. Y'all weak, y'all fold under pressure. Now y'all went and lost your treasure. Oh my, look at the oppressor, dressed as a professor, calls himself a hitman, missed his target and got banned. Now he's tomorrow's trend, all for a brand. Don't act surprised. Y'all can stand. Y'all knew the plan. Y'all know that friend with that itchy hand ready to see you go missing? Damn, what a scam. The whole time they was listening. They was just a part of the plan. Got us on a mission, on go mode and ready to rant. Mm, that's how it is, though. That's how it be.
guy needs to get the death penalty, blah, blah, blah. And the jury has a question. Mr. Jackson, you're the foreman for the grand jury, for the jury. Is that correct, sir? Yes, Your Honor, it is. And you have, sir, reduced your question to writing. We have, sir. Would you please pass that to one of my bailiffs, Mr. Williams? Would you get that, please, and pass it to the court? I'm looking at it, and I polled the jury. Is this your question, Miss Thompson, Miss Osgood, Mr. Jackson? Is this yours, Miss Swartz? Is this yours? Mrs. Let's see, your name, Wilberforce. Yes, this yours. Okay. The court will now publish the question. Your Honor, if we feel that the victim deserved killing, do we have to convict the defendant? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will retire to the jury room, reread your instructions that are contained in file jackets, so and so and so and so, and return such verdict as truth dictates and justice requires, and such as you are able to return without violence to your individual consciences. Please continue your deliberations. Thank you very much. You know, this was a reality. See, we get a lot of hype delivered to us, television in terms of drama, uh, really sadly construed news, and a lot of stuff that is propaganda. We have
I want y'all to peep how he said construed news, and a lot of it is propaganda. Y'all know who said something similar to that? Tom McDonald. in his music. Shout out to Tom McDonald. Shout out to Judge Joe Brown for, exposing and speaking the truth, speaking reality, for not having filters in his mouth. Shout out to Judge Joe Brown.
Acceptance as the regular thing, what 30 years ago used to be looked down on as tabloid journalism, National Enquirer, Globe, and Star. We get fixated on gossip, which used to be on the last column, last page, or the last section of a newspaper. Yes, on the front. I can remember when I was still a criminal defense lawyer, I used to have laminated 2 pages from National Enquirer. One of them had a boy, child, an infant, with an obviously airbrushed pig snout on, and it said, half boy, half pig, born in barnyard and
Oh
adopted
shit.
by loving parents. Doesn't happen. Biologically impossible. But then a year and 4 months later, the next headline says 5 year old half boy, half pig, adopted by loving parents, now succeeding in school. And they got a kid sitting on daddy's knee with an airbrushed pig snout on. So obviously, 5 years doesn't pass in 1 year and 4 months to begin with. It is all unreal. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, when I'm questioning you here on this void hour, I want you to take into consideration such things as this. Anybody remember this headline? And it all started laughing.
I did, because I was sitting here thinking, like, what the fuck? They sitting here doing hybrids and shit now? Like, they going to take it back to the ancient Egyptian time. Like,
You know, objection overruled. Counsel is simply establishing familiarity with um, the jury. So these were realities that used to exist, and now they have been told or practiced so long they look normal. And that's part of this whole process that we get victimized by. You tell a lie long enough and loud enough, and you can get anybody, including the liar, to believe it. That's Adolf Hitler, Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi minister of propaganda. And Hitler and Joseph, uh, they modeled their propaganda on America's Hollywood. They said that was the most profound propaganda engine that the world had ever created, and they looked to it for inspiration and methodology. And right here at home, that has been put into play, used.
they just said Hitler, though. In Hollywood. It's all a propaganda, and people not even noticing what's happening.
And abused for the last half century.
I have a question since you brought up Hollywood. What is Hollywood's obsession with producing movies and funding movies where the storyline focuses on the time period when black people were enslaved?
Because they want black people to be conditioned to emotionalism. See, 55 years ago, when I was active in student and community affairs, uh, myself, along with other people, we used to travel around the country.
So, are y'all going to say Judge Joe Brown is talking lies? He's not speaking facts when it comes about slavery?
To various college and university campuses, and we heard this group of people that was dedicating themselves to a lifetime of infiltrating and taking over the entertainment industry, the news industry, and politics so they could get their way of life imposed. Essentially, let's just put them as man haters. There were those who hated that they weren't men. There are those who hated men. There were those who hated they weren't strong men. There were those who hated that they weren't normal men. And there were those who hated that men supposedly caused war. So you had all of these people who did not match up to what would be termed the masculine standard, or who felt they were victimized by that. So they swore they were going to get rid of this. I can remember the first time I heard it, which was actually April 1967. People talking about masculinity is toxic and we're going to have to get rid of it for the salvation of humankind before we all kill each other off and nuke the world.
Everything is for the salvation of mankind. It's like for right now. It's like now, our kids is our future. Our kids is our future, but we too busy killing them. I don't see people standing up and doing what they gotta do. If anything, I see people running with their tails tucked behind their, tucked in between their legs. Like, come on, man, y'all too scared to speak up. And then those of y'all that should be speaking up, talking about, oh, it's all fake, it ain't real, da, 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 but y'all believe all the televisions and y'all believe the lies that are being told to y'all.
World and all this kind of nonsense. So it went on from there. And I have seen this process of glorification of dysfunction so long that it has become normal. Now, I studied propaganda, and one of the targets of propaganda is to get your object to start thinking in terms of the propaganda that you're putting out. And compared to 50 some years ago and what I hear now, the process has been very successful because people express themselves and use the terms of the propaganda that has been directed against them. See, when you have the masculine
Shit. Judge Joe Brown is proving my point in a lot of things. Like, that's why I said, listen, man, ain't nobody gonna bring me down. Ain't nobody gonna censor me. I have a voice. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna speak up. I'm just not gonna do what other people out here want me to do. And that's what gets a lot of people mad. So I would never tell somebody that's out here trying to speak up and, give their voice out there for the public to hear. I would never tell them that not to speak up, to censor themselves. No. Don't worry about what people got to say. There's always going to be a hater in the crowd that's going to make you feel like you're doing the wrong thing. Follow your gut and do what you feel comfortable doing.
component, it's about order, rationality, reason, logic, skepticism. It's about being rigorous and analyzing things. It's about a sense, an innate, instinctive sense that the thing between being a nice, tasty dish for another large predator on this planet and ruling the planet is putting your head into what you're doing, where you look carefully at the sign that you're seeing on the ground around in the trees and what you're observing to keep from getting eaten, to find something to eat, and to keep your people from being lunch, breakfast, midnight snack to something large with a large appetite. Now everything on the planet is at our mercy. And what is it? Save the elephants, save the whales, save the tigers, send $19 a month to World Wildlife Fund, send $19 a month to ASPCA so poor Oscar won't be chained in the cold backyard. And
Let me say something, right? Do y'all know that if we come together, we can actually start our own schools and bring programs together for our kids and stuff like that to guide them in the right path, like they do in these other places. Watching the history about Malcolm X and stuff like that, I've learned so much. And watching his interviews and stuff like that, I'm sitting here, I'm like, damn, a lot of people have gotten the wrong message, and the schools don't really talk to us or break it down or explain to us what we really need to know. And I've been talking about that for the longest. Like, there's an agenda behind this. And what's crazy is, for all those of you that look up to Michael Jordan, I stopped looking up to Michael Jordan a long time ago when I was a teenager. When I found out When I heard this interview and he sat here and boldly said that the money that he makes off of us from all his Jordans and stuff like that, he uses it to open up more prisons to bring in our young urban men, whether they Hispanic or black. So y'all need to start really getting your shit together and start getting learning your history. Because right now a lot of y'all don't know y'all history and y'all really do. Y'all need to learn it before y'all end up in a ditch making history. You got motherfuckers talking about that they want to make a change, they want to make a difference, but still stuck in the same phase. You got motherfuckers talking about that they want to chase a bag but stay at home and nag. Then when you ask them what they need, they say less talking, more opinions, no prayers with division. You ask me, y'all need to focus more on revision, rely less on television. How you want a future you have no vision? This world is just like fiction. What we need is more talking, less opinions, more prayers with no division. Before you come up with a conclusion, giving people false illusions, pick up a book, do your research, learn your history before you end up in a ditch making history. Division and religion isn't working. The only way to show God our faith and love is through our actions. Our convictions is the only thing that really unite us. One God, one nation, different beliefs. There's words that can't fly with the wind. There's insults that are not violent. Meanwhile, while you're home to them, they're killing you on the inside. If I was to tell you that I didn't hurt, I would be lying. Would you believe me if I was to tell you that there's truths that lie, especially when they're telling you that they're indifferent? Getting shoved to the side because you're different. There's a hug out there someone didn't receive today. Probably because of what was said about them yesterday. Probably because of the way they was dressed today. Not realizing that the one that they hate could be the one that saves their day. But you know what? Thanks to them, it's another day in history where you get to flip the pages to your book and speak your story. And Lord, it's unholy. But you know what hurts the most? As I walk down the street and I see how easily we're divided. When we all should be united. One body, one mind, one soul, a million talents. Lord, without you, we're all divided. Forgive them, Lord, for they don't know any better. They don't know that there's someone out there that loves them. I call that and that's a fact.
Not love, no love. Send $19 a month to save a Negro because they're being so badly mistreated. You know, it's kind of getting weird when you look at it and say, man, I never thought it. I was hoping it wouldn't get this far, but I kind of knew it was going to because we bought into it. It's like preachers now. They don't preach about sin, they talk about belief. You used to hear the perils of doing wrong and how you'd go to hell, and now you hear it's all right to be a pimp, hoe, drug dealer, murderer, thief, robber, rapist, burglar. It doesn't make any difference as long as you believe you're okay. So nobody preaches about the consequence of wrongdoing. You don't see somebody producing a dramatic work where somebody suffers because they did wrong or doing right, but having to suffer as a matter of principle, a tragedy. You hear all of this glorification of the wrong thing. Now, as far as black folk are concerned in the Hollywood industry, it started off in the late 1960s. Color television was beginning to work. First, they had these round screen things that weren't crap, and then they started getting square. They started working. And Hollywood at that time, every Sunday and every Thursday would come up with two new movies, three cartoons, and some little special reels at every theater in the country. No matter how well it was selling, it would change every Thursday and Sunday. And the movie industries were going broke trying to make that production schedule. So they got the idea, the, the folk that decided they were going to change the paradigm socially of taking over Hollywood. And what they came up with is instead of doing two movies every Thursday and Sunday, we do just one and play it as long as people will come to see it. Also, instead of you walking in the middle of a movie, staying through what was showing, seeing the next one, and then sitting through what you missed, to staying all night for 50 cents as an adult, let's charge a buck and a half, which we thought was outrageous, for one movie, and you had to go in there on time and leave when it was over. So, what are we going to do? They said about bringing in cash flow. Well, let's go to a group of neglected viewers who are anxious to see themselves, black folk. Well, let's not get one of those Sidney Poitier Moody movies or such that we had where they were talking about principle. Let's go to the lowest common denominator. Let's talk about drug dealers, pimps, hoes, and all that other kind of stuff and get the most cash flow. So the first time we saw this was Fred the Hammer Williams in Black Caesar, where the hero was a contract killer and a drug kingpin, and he prospered and he drove off in a limo smoking a big cigar as the sun rose after a shootout in a Long Beach warehouse with dead folk all over the place and no LAPD coming along. Everybody said, what is this? Wait a minute. We're talking about drug dealing being an anathema for the black community, and the Panther Party, Black Student Alliance, and all of these community organizations are trying to get drugs the hell out and resist the attempt to have an influx of heavy drug. What is this? And then 18 months later, they come up with Superfly. Rod O'Neal goes in there, and everybody had afros, beards, subdued, olive drab.
See, I be telling people that they don't get the message in the movies. They just it's the entertainment. Like that's all people watch these movies for. A lot of these movies do got a message, but they go for the movies that is nothing full of just entertainment and no real messages in there. Those are the movies that people make popular. People don't want to hear the truth. And that's why I said when 2023 started, my focus isn't on the adults. My focus is on reaching the youth. Judge Joe Brown not lying on none of the stuff he just said right here. There's so many things going on around us that we don't talk about. And a lot of these kids have a voice. They just can't be heard. That's why I said it. The interviews with the kids are going, like the little videos, hearing what they got to say and much more. I'm going to do them because nobody wants to hear what they got to say. But if we listen, we can actually figure out what's needed in our communities.
Tan, dark brown, or black dashikis,
And,
Levi's,
the
boots.
perm came back in bright
Yeah,
colors.
the perm comes back in, super fly nonsense, pimp mobiles. Yeah, man, gonna have to move some of that coke, man. That's deep, man. And I can remember it came out in LA in 1971, but in 1972, I was doing an intern thing at a think tank in DC, Washington. And my roommate and I were driving along. We were on 14th Street where they still had a movie house black folk went to. So we drove around this run long block and had black folk in line coming out of the show where they'd bought a ticket around to the far end of the short end of the block, down the long side of the block, around the short end, back up the long side, and back to the theater waiting to get in to see this poison. And everybody was talking about how deep it is. And we were saying, man, wow. And then we just happened to go look up through contacts we had the profit margins on that movie, which were enormous. And they bailed a couple of collaborating Hollywood studios out. Well, the latest ones that's done that is the Black Panther series, one and two. Walt Disney and ABC in 2011 got hit by a huge lawsuit verdict. If you remember the series, So You Want to Be a Millionaire? Well, they ABC and Disney, as per Hollywood, rank them out. They do that all the time.
Uh, Explain what you mean by rank them out.
In other words, violated the contract, didn't act in good faith, cheated, stole money, which I ran into repeatedly over and over with CBS and
I want to get to
Viacom.
you for later about just
So, staff and crew of So You Want to Be a Millionaire sued ABC and Disney. They won. They were asking for about $8.5 million, and CBS, ABC, and Disney resisted, and then they went through federal court. And finally, they wound up with the Ninth Circuit. Three-member panel went with the original plaintiffs, and then ABC and Disney went further. So the whole Ninth Circuit, the nine-member full panel, heard it. And the decision, the opinion's interesting. It says this industry singularly refuses to comply with the first rule of American contract law, colon. That is, all parties must deal with each other in good faith. Period. Perhaps we can fix this. So instead of giving the $8 some million, they awarded the plaintiff $580 million. So Hollywood very seldom has cash on hand. They do a lot of stuff on credit and reciprocity and cash flow, but no cash on hand. So between 2011 and when they brought out the Black Panther movie, they owed the plaintiffs about $1.5 billion, and the interest was mounting. So the courts gave them a deadline on paying down the interest by a certain amount. The plaintiffs could levy and execute and take any item of ABC property in the country and the rides at Disney World and Disneyland and Anaheim, and most of the revenue on the rides to the plaintiffs. So I heard them plotting this stuff back when, before I left. And they were saying, we got to do something to pay this off. Let's go to the black people again. What will we do? So they came up with the Black Panther movie, which became the all-time high-grossing superhero movie.
Yo, there's been a lot said about Disney. I'm gonna do a live after January when I do come back, and we're gonna talk about Disney.
In history. And everybody claims to love it. But let's look at that movie. The last scene, what were the men and women of the tribe doing? They were trying to kill each other in mortal combat. They were using weapons and actually trying to snuff each other. That's the men and women of the tribe. That's poisonous. Killmonger, who was looked at as a villain in the movie and was portrayed as such, was making actual verbatim statements that came from Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, H. Rap Brown, from Stokely Carmichael, from Huey Newton, and they made those the utterance of a villain. He was trying to use this high technology to take over Africa, then take over the world and run it peacefully, and he knew how to deal with a revolution. Killmonger, was the son of the uncle of the current Black Panther, and the uncle had been killed by his brother, who was the Black Panther, because he wanted revolution. He was on the West Coast in America training these black kids how to be about business when they killed him. So Killmonger goes to MIT, graduates at 19 at the top of his class as a physicist slash rocket scientist. Then he joins the Navy SEALs and is so good at killing, he becomes known as Killmonger. He's devoted his study to revolution. And then they got some handkerchief head Negro playing the Black Panther in tights, playing vigilante for some strange white folk. Now, Stan Lee, who came up with the Black Panther in the comics, actually had the Black Panther like Killmonger in the movie. He was a hero and a revolutionary who only became involved in that kind of business because there was somebody engaged in sex trafficking and heavy drug sales and distribution that was impacting Africa and black people.
Listen to carefully to what he say, yo. Judge Joe Brown right now is speaking gems. It says y'all don't want to listen to the regular people like us. Hey, maybe y'all will, listen to what he is saying. And shout out to I never knew TV because I love the fact that he actually let Judge Joe Brown speak. Like he didn't interrupt him, none of that.
That was not what they did in the movie. He had his little bald head babe bodyguards that looked like
He said
hoes on
no
his
funny.
arm playing pimp. And I know I used to represent a bunch of pimps and hoes in Memphis 40 some years ago in Memphis. And they weren't his bodyguards, they were his keepers. His mother ran the country, his aunt ran the country. There wasn't a single man in charge except that guy with the lip disc playing preacher. The men all had secondary roles, and then this is supposed to be the most technologically advanced country in the world. Did you see a restaurant anywhere in that place? And everybody is eating off of a charcoal fire like they're 500 years in the past. Did you
Oh
see
snap.
any men who could fly the virtual fighter plane? No, they had to get a white guy who was a retired CIA agent to do it.
Yo, this crazy. It's not the first time they said this about the Hollywood movies and when they talk about our history. That's why I tell people, go to the books, yo, read them hardbacks.
It was sickness. And people just ate it up and loved it and didn't even realize what they were looking at because that has become part of our psyche, which is negativity and self-defeatism. In other words, propaganda has as its objective to get the target to start thinking in ways that secure his own demise.
What about these slavery movies though? Why do you
The
think that
slavery movies are part of getting you conditioned to being emotional and get you to go, woe is me, we've been done so wrong. So when you start talking about,
victim
Peep it. Yo, I'm coming. I've been telling people for a long time, we dwelling over something that we didn't go through. And those people that took their lives, we didn't even soak the message in. What we sitting here dwelling for when we should be sitting here making a difference on and showing everybody what it is that these people lost their lives for. But we sit here thinking that we're the ones that were in that plantation. We were the ones that were in them shackles.
talk.
yeah.
Uh,
So when you start talking about, oh, woe is me, I've been done wrong, they present it to you as an excuse rather than as a motivation to get angry enough to do something. Now, I stopped after I got past what Hollywood did as a for instance, and I'm going to get to that one. What you get is an excuse for not doing what you ought to do. I knew Japanese guys when I grew up on the West Coast. And see, some of them had kinfolk who were in Japan in World War II. And they were kamikazes, or they knew kamikazes. They were into that Bushido thing, they were into that bonsai charge. And in other words, they understood that you always had an option, that is to die by your own hand or by your action. And when I think about what was going
Do y'all think that y'all gonna get these celebrities to actually speak on our history like this? Talk about what really happened? A lot of people don't really know about their history. We've been lied to so much to the point where so many people are confused and they just don't want to know the truth. They settle for the lies that they've been told.
on, when I think about my Native American side, which is grandmother saying, "You colored get mad at what white folk do to you. We take scalps and nail them to the lodge pole and smile." I get to thinking about they've done a damn fine job of what they're doing. And I go back to when I was an intern at this DC think tank in 72 here in DC, or in DC and in Chicago. And I think about what I read when I studied what they call the slave pamphlets that are on microfilm or were in the Library of Congress. And it was get the slave to think in terms of his enslavement. So his culture teaches him that those things that we need him to be, that we need him to think like, are appropriate. In other words, get him thinking like a slave. Make sure he thinks he's dependent. Make sure he thinks.
And that is exactly what they're doing, and we're falling for it. We can't see no change because we're fighting each other. We're doing exactly what they're telling us to do in these movies, what they're telling us to, what they're making us believe. We're soaking all that shit in, and here we are fighting each other, arguing with each other. And we get told the truth by people like Judge Joe Brown and other people, Papa Doug and stuff like that. But a lot of people choose to say, "Oh no, man, fuck them, they crazy. They don't know what they talking about." Man, y'all better start doing y'all listen, start learning y'all history before y'all end up in a ditch making history once again.
He has to ask, make sure he thinks that he should be grateful. Those three things. And you see, now we don't think like we did back in the 60s, like, get the hell out of my way, I'll do it for my damn self. It's when are you going to give it to us? And then you see that gets back into, do you really expect somebody that's been oppressing you for hundreds of years to give you something that you are supposed to be able to ensure that you get? You see,
Mm. And it leads all back to what? Who lost his life for a lot of this shit? Malcolm X. This is a man that's proof out there, videos showing that he went around the world talking. And in the process, he learned himself that there's people in other countries that are multicultural too. Different shades, different colors. But we sitting here worrying about the color of our skin and who's got more money. If the celebrities are doing this, if the celebrities are doing that. And not noticing that we're building caskets no bigger than 2 to 3 feet to lay underground.
institution of slavery is particularly bad in America because it's chattel slavery, and that chattel is French for cattle. In other words, you dehumanize the slave. Previously, anybody might be a slave if he was unfortunate enough to get captured in a war. But here, the slave becomes a domestic animal, sort of a super chimpanzee or gorilla that walks on two legs, but is no more human than those animals are. You see, we even glorify the process, the woman king. That's out of Dahomey. The whole damn business was about slave catching. As a matter of fact, my great grandfather, through the writings of my grandfather, is revealed to me, was very disturbed about the Dahomean thing. He was out on a mission after the slave trade. No woman kings in Dahomey. What happened is they had three brothers, literally kin, who would jointly inherited the kingship in Dahomey. So they came up with a brilliant idea. They said, we're not going to let our nobility hold these government posts. We get commoners.
Let me pause this real quick. I'm not sure who's trying to come up. Somebody's trying to come up and disconnect themselves. But I would really, really appreciate it if you show the panel some respect. I know there's nobody on here right now, but like introduce yourself through the chat because I'm not just gonna let anybody up without me knowing who it is either. Thank you kindly.
And for every commoner that holds a government post, we're going to have a beloved female relative of his in the palace is a concubine to one of us. And if that guy gets out of hand, we kill the female relative. We also throw in a little thing by allowing the female relative to veto what her male relative, who holds the official position, is talking about doing. So they had basically a battalion of Amazons, and everything else was run by men. So the whole movie was a lie. But the point of the exercise, and so sickening, is they glorified this very sordid event in our history of so many black folk getting enslaved around the world. And one of the centers was Dahomey, where the Dutch, the French, and to an extent the English financed this slave catching for several centuries. It didn't stop until the early part of the 20th century, and they were trying to bootleg it then. So that's like, let's say, women feminists deciding they wanted to show these heroic operatives in World War II who were females, so they're Jewish, and they pick Gestapo agents, female, who might have had a remote Jewish connection to glorify because they caught so many Jews and helped send them to the extermination camps. See, that's what that movie does, and it's part of that process of glorifying dysfunction and getting the targets of your propaganda going rah, rah, rah to something that's designed to hurt them. You see, the bottom line is if you get the black folk jacked around, what's happened is that the young white boys
Everybody's so ramped up to the point where they on go mode.
who don't get an appropriate dose of masculinity are looking at black youth, male youth, as the epitome of masculinity and are modeling themselves on what these young black guys are doing. And if the black guys are oppressed, then the white guys trying to emulate them get oppressed. If you go to a joint prison, you hear a lot of black music being played by the neo-Nazi type, the Aryan Nation type, by the Hispanic gangs, but yet they claim to hate black folk.
Listen carefully, yo. Same stuff we've been talking about all year. All year. Oh, la, la, damn, I don't know why I say year like that. All year we've been talking about this stuff. Whether it was on my panel, whether it's on Nate the Great panel, whether it's the Words panel, whether it's on Marlene Motivates. Shout out to Marlene Motivates, Marlene Sanders. Y'all, if y'all haven't subbed up to her, make sure y'all go sub up to her. Great content, great topics, great podcast show. But regardless, these different types of channels I just mentioned, different type of people have spoke about these type of topics in their own ways. Relationships, prison, friendships, hate, love, social media, the youth, the communities, the behavior, trying to bring solutions to the table, movies in comparison to, what's happening now, pandemics, health issues, mental health. I could just keep going down the line. And Just Joe Brown is talking about it all in one simple interview.
You see, because that's divide and conquer what that is, but they ideate on stuff black. Rap is stagnant. It hasn't changed for 45 years. Hip hop is dead. It's kept alive because there's a whole huge money paying market of young males all around the world who want something masculine, and they ideate on gangster hip hop rap video where it looks like men are in charge of the women because they don't see anything that promotes masculinity. So why change what works? And plus, they don't dance too well. If you watch them, they kind of do that techno jump up and down to everything out of rhyme and rhythm with what they are dealing with.
Besides what they singing, which is trash to me, I ain't the only one that thinks like it, but a lot of people scared to speak up on their opinions. I ain't. A lot of this music that a lot of these people listen to nowadays is nothing more than just trash. I've heard a lot of people like, yo, why you hating on Krishan Rock? I ain't hating on the shorty. But listen, man, she made her bed. She gotta lay in that shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to keep having these little girls keep thinking that are you gonna get mistreated by a man and you're gonna keep going back. And that it's okay to get treated like this on social media, out here in these streets. It's not okay to get treated like that. And I've already come up to the conclusion that Krishan Rock, Blueface, and them, this is all a game to them. This is a play. And people are falling into their play, into their skits and shit, and they're not realizing this is real life out here. Our kids are imitating this shit that y'all want them to watch. To me, they're not role models for our kids. They're not role models for no women. They're not no women empowerment. These women look for this type of stuff because you're not going to sit here and tell me that you're going to keep going back to what's making you miserable. No. Too many women out here have fought to show women out here and show the young women out here that you can pick yourself up after you've been misused, abused, mistreated, dragged. I could just keep going. For these women to try to take us back. You can't stand up for yourself. Let the man hit you. Let the man abuse you. Leave him and come right back. No, it don't work like that. That's not the message I want my daughter to see. But if y'all want y'all daughters to see that, go ahead. To each his own. But let me play this disclaimer real quick because I gotta go to the store and I'll be right back. I'm gonna press play. I'm trying to rock out as long as I can right now. I'm trying to ride as long as I can. You know, I'm gonna get off this joint soon. This gonna be my last live once again of 2023. It's about to be 12 a.m. I'm not gonna be on here for much longer. So I'm gonna play a list a little longer. Let me go to the store real quick. I'm gonna play this disclaimer and then we're gonna keep playing Just Over. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Fair use allows limited use of copyrighted material without permission from the copyright holder for purposes such as criticism, parody, news reporting, research, and scholarships and teaching. Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed on this video or any video, including the Writers for Life Brings You to Let's Talk About It podcast, do not reflects on the opinions of your shorty Racheal and the members of the Writer for Life podcast. Everything we talk about is allegedly and is our opinion. Our videos are not recommended for minors. Everything we talk about and do is meant for educational purposes and also entertainment. Please keep in mind that the majority of our videos are for educational purposes only. This world is crazy. I would say shady. Ironic, right? Nowadays, you can't trust no one. When you do, niggas be having their panties all in a bunch, thinking that they own one. Saying the things that you accomplished in life is theirs and that you owe them one. Whew. Ain't it good to be in North Philly and have the Chinese store right across the street from you, yo? Oh, God. I think that, how long is that disclaimer? A minute and 10 seconds, yo. Yep. Whew. The Chinese store right across the street and they still open till 1 o'clock in the morning. Ooh, Lord. Let's keep playing, y'all. But yo, I shout out to Just Joe Brown. He's never been scared to speak up, yo.
So that sells, and it's part of this process of emasculation. Now, candidly, full disclosure, my youngest son married a Russian. She was born in Russia, but she was naturalized and she was a translator, is a translator, or was for the Navy. Now she's a medic, a Corps woman. And I've got a half Russian granddaughter, beautiful, want to be a movie star, very intelligent. And what they say is going on is Putin is saying he is saving the world from the American and the Western move to emasculate everything, and also saving the world from a resurgence of Nazism. And what do? You can't put a cross under an American flag. You can't put a crescent under American flags on a government flagpole. You can't put the Jewish star under there. You can't put a Buddhist symbol under there, a Hindu symbol under there, but you can put a rainbow flag under there. See, we are being wrapped up in an effort that is
Yo, he is speaking facts. A lot of people is gonna get offended. Oh well, that's it. It's true. There's a whole propaganda going on, and I know the way I say it. Go ahead, laugh, whatever y'all want. But listen, man, this man is spitting gems right now. He is speaking so many facts. He's saying exactly everything that we've been talking about. You want to say hi? And then you gotta go over there, okay? Come on. Go ahead. Say hi. You're a little shy. I turned the camera off. Say hi.
Hi.
Ain't no hi. Get out of here trying to have a deep voice. Crazy, baby. But yeah, all that stuff is going on. Look at what they teaching our kids in the schools. You even got little kids trying to fight this. Where to the point where they need these adults to really speak up for this stuff to actually stop. What are we doing? What are we waiting for? Y'all just sitting around twirling y'all little fingers, just expecting for the government to give it to y'all. They're not gonna give it to y'all. You gotta get up and get it. Y'all keep thinking somebody's coming to save us. No one's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves.
unrecognized as such to establish an official religion for this country. Now, the rainbow does not have a deity, but neither does Buddhism. There is no deity for Buddhists. It's a principle of philosophy. There are a lot of gay folk that think LGBTQIA is a cult, and they don't like it either. But this cult has immersed itself into the American mindset, into American politics, into American education, into American sociology. And it's like any new religion, it is filled with overwhelming zeal. It is ruthless.
I didn't really want to hit the Disney topic, but I want y'all to peep how the majority of the movies on Disney that are coming out for the past couple of years have a lot to do with the LGBT. And a lot of our kids have been confused. A lot are asking questions. A lot are acting out on it. A lot are thinking that it's okay. But listen, it's not. If these kids got the courage to come up and speak at these school board meetings and say, I have a problem with this, I don't want to be taught this in school, I don't feel comfortable, why can't they be listened to? But why isn't enough grown-ups speaking for them, knowing that we are their voice until they hit the proper age? Until they don't hit 21, until they don't really hit like 18 in reality, these kids can't really speak up. And there's a lot of them. Wow, that's nice, baby. There's a lot of them trying to speak up, a lot of them trying to have a voice. We're hearing them. I hear a lot of, shout out to all the YouTubers, all the bloggers that, bring awareness and actually speak on the kids that are doing these things. Because there are a couple YouTubers out here that have actually bought and spoke on these stories. And they're not just bringing out awareness, they're not just talking about what's happening around us that's negative. They're also bringing awareness to what's happening that's positive. Our kids that are actually overcoming the challenges that we're given here in the urban communities and much more. That's why, like I said, coming soon, coming real soon, Riders for Life is bringing the kids' opinions, feelings, and like we're gonna have hood topics. We're gonna have a couple different types of things coming. Like our kids' voice matter too, and we need to start listening to them. So, like I said, we're taking this channel to a whole different direction in 2024. I'm trying to figure it all out, how to make it work. And like I said, y'all support is needed. If y'all wish to support, we here. Like, yo, we can rock out together and we can start building. We can start doing something. Because trust and believe me, when I tell you that what I'm talking about, the idea that I got in my mind when it comes to the community center and all this shit, listen, it's something. This year, I feel like, listen, man, there's a change in the atmosphere. Like us, the ones that have been fighting for so much, I feel like we're finally going to get a little bit somewhere. And all the people that have been negative, all the people that have been toxic, listen, they're going to stay right where they at in the past. 2023, 2024 hit. We need to focus on what's really important. We need to throw all that negative and all that toxic shit out the window. Kobe that shit into a trash can. Because we can't do the things that we said we're going to do. There's going to be obstacles. We just have to find ways to go around them. We need to stop making excuses. We need to stop saying that we can't. We need to take the word we can't, I can't out of our vocabularies when we got goals and we got missions.
It operates on the basis of by any means necessary. It is appropriate to ruin other people to save them from what they are.
I have a question, right? Being that you witnessed firsthand the transition and the growth, how did the LGBTQ, I forgot the last names, become so powerful?
Because they made it a point 55 years ago, and we heard it often as they pontificated about it. They made speeches about it. They were going to take over entertainment. They were going to take.
That's a fact, yo. It's like when Joe Biden years ago said that he was going to become president, and it was going to be the black people and the Hispanics that was going to give him the majority of the votes. And guess who gave it to them? The black people and the Hispanics. Messed up to say, but it's true, man. We create our own destructions. There's too many of us that say we stand for something, but we fall for everything. That's why Shorty asked this question. I don't give a fuck if you call me crazy, if you think I'm shot out, or whatever. Listen, I'm asking questions because I want to know. That's why I got myself in trouble last year here on YouTube. I was asking too many questions because I wanted to know what the hell I was getting myself involved. Like, I don't know what's really going on. Like, too many lies, too much bullshit going on. And then when you ask questions and you give an opinion, oh, fuck this person, da 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 da. Man, I'm not sitting here and I'm not going to chase nobody that thinks they special victims. This is not the special victims unit, and I am not Olivia Benson. I could play around and pretend to be Olivia Benson, but I'm not Olivia Benson. My name is Raquel Santiago. Listen, man, the world knows me by Rachel. They call me Shorty, they call me Rachel. But fuck, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I can recollect, shit, I don't think anybody's ever called me Olivia Benson. Shit.
Over politics, and they want to entertain, well, not entertain, but take over news reporting. And they have. See, if you go to Hollywood, LGBTQIA brags that 9 out of every 10 people you see anywhere in Hollywood are affiliated with them. But that is not quite truthful because Hollywood has a lot of gay people in it, but all of them aren't into LGBTQ. As some of them might put it, LGBTQ is a cult. And just because you're Islamic does not mean that you support Al Qaeda or ISIS. Or if you were a Christian, you didn't support
Facts on top of facts, y'all.
Reverend Jim Jones and drinking a lot of the wrong kind of Kool-Aid at a large church picnic in Guyana, either. You see, or you didn't have to support Branch Davidian. So, it's like what's being propagandized. Now, there's this thing called brand loyalty. That's what is a weird point about Hollywood in this whole thing. You've heard of Nielsen and their ratings. Well, Nielsen started off 80 some years ago, and what it was for was to give commercial sponsors an idea of what return they were getting on their commercial advertisements.
Oh, something more tangible so you could charge to see like you get this
Yeah.
much traffic.
So who was going to it? Now, their prime target was females 18 to 24. Why? Because there was an insulting theory that said women.
It's like in the music nowadays. What do y'all think the biggest audience is? Women and children.
and dumb. And if you get them to establish brand loyalty or develop brand loyalty at 18, they'll keep buying that brand for the rest of their lives. You've heard of soap operas. Well, that's because when they originated on radio, they were sponsored by Procter and Gamble, Colgate, Tide soap products because they were presumed to be bored, stay-at-home housewives, and they would be listening on the radio to these stories that would distract them from the humdrum existence that they thought they were caught up in. Soap operas. So right now, for example, the demographics that spend the most money are males 54 and above. The second highest spending demographic are females 35 to 54 who operate operative families. And it's kind of bad because the demographic that spends the least money are females 18 to 24, but that's the number one target. Now, I remember down here, we had a meeting with KNBC4, which at the time was the largest broadcast station in America, and some of the large commercial sponsors. And my show was their number one moneymaker. And they were talking about, well, Judge, we have a problem here. You just started appealing to these 18 to 24 young women, and you appeal to the ones 35 to 54, but not the ones we're targeting. This dude said, hey, what's wrong with you? I sell Mercedes and
You know what's crazy? How South Park just recently bought a new movie. Well, they just put a movie out, right? And it's called Cred or something like that. And in that show, they actually show you, they kind of expose how the industries target the kids and how they put, explicit stuff out here and stuff like that to draw the kids' attention. And it works. Yo, it shows you that how much a lot of the parents out here isn't paying attention to what their kids are actually doing or watching.
Maybach. They're very expensive automobiles. 18 to 24-year-old females don't buy my automobiles. The people that watch Judges Card show, they buy my automobiles. The hell with you. You want me to snatch my commercial budget from you? Oh, no, sir. No, sir. And what's the matter with you? Don't you read the 34 through 50, 35 through 54-year-old women that love him are the second highest spending group out there. What is the matter with you? So they shut up. They got hit with a commercial reality. And you see, one of the things you have to understand about Hollywood is it does not operate off of money, it operates off of agenda. If you want to see how it works, next time you go to a movie, when it first starts, watch the number of studios or production entities that are affiliated with that movie. They don't have the cash nor the credit to do it all on their own, so they spread it out as sort of a syndicate thing. And they produce movie
Pay attention to what he's saying.
after movie that happen to be box office flops. For example, they have a thing called Black's List. Black's List was started by a brother named Black. And it's not negative. For the last 25 years, each of the major studios have sent in their best scripts to Black's List, saying these are the best scripts we've encountered this year. And 75 some percent of those scripts got made into movies. But with the exception of just one movie, every single one of them has been a flop because Hollywood doesn't know what makes a good movie. They will spend a lot of money on it and then have a group of people look at it after they spent the money, focus groups, but they don't know what makes it. So I won $100,000 bet with 10 executives, 10 grand apiece. I said, I'll pick out of your next 10 productions, the ones that are flops and the ones that
What's crazy is that if you look at Hollywood, Hollywood is also part of a stock, and a lot of people don't seem to notice that shit. Like it's that shit is owned through stocks. Like it's different owners to their Jonas.
that are hits. I picked every one. How did you know? I said, she said,
Disney's a stock
said,
too.
if you go back and examine entertainment throughout human history, they all have a purpose. Whether it's the shaman around the campfire in Africa or on the plains, or you're talking about Shakespeare, or you're talking about Greco-Roman plays, or even John Wayne in a movie. It says something about human nature. This garbage you're putting out doesn't say anything that people need to hear. You're pressed by the lighting. Who gives a damn? What's the purpose of the lighting? You know, the dialogue. What does it say? What is your point being made? And you pick all this garbage that has no
Oh, he ain't lying because there's been some low budget films out there that have killed these fucking Hollywood movies on some real shit. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. Tubi got some hell of a good fucking movies out there. They Tubi originals too at that, and you don't pay for them.
point. In the one movie you made out of the whole bunch on Black's List that made it, which was uh Will Smith and Charlize Theron with Hancock, that had a lot in there that had something to say about something specifically, and it made it. That was the only one in 25 years that hadn't been an absolute flop. Then another thing, James Cameron came into Hollywood peripherally. He is an oceanographer. He did contract work with the U.S. Navy, undersea
That's
spy.
Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar, Titanic, Abyss. Those are the three highest grossing movies of all time. But they hate
Hmm.
him because he's not Hollywood. He did oceanography. He did documentaries to raise money for his oceanography work.
But then on the Titanic, we was lied to. If you go back and you do your research, you'll find out the truth. I did a whole live about it. Go back to the beginning of my lives. I think on this channel, on the podcast, and you will see that I did a live on Jackal Island and the history of Titanic and what really happened. Like if you go by the Titanic, you're sitting here thinking that it's about a romance.
And got into Hollywood. He's a real world badass. He actually went down the second deepest any human has ever been, personally. Not quite to the bottom of the Marianas Trench, but 400 feet shallower than two Navy officers went in 1960, all by himself. So he's real live badass. But when he came out with Avatar, which was all-time box office hit, it lost out to Best Movie of the Year to a sorry, poorly done war movie known as Hurt Locker. Why did he lose out? Well, if you check with LGBTQ a week before the Oscars, you saw who was going to win. See, Oscars are a fraud now. They aren't doing what they're supposed to. And why did Hurt Locker win? Because
That's why they had to create all that drama between Chris Rock and Will Smith. To this day, yo, I still believe that smack was fake. It was all staged. You could tell.
Hurt Locker was produced and directed by his just divorced wife, who came out as a proud lesbian. So they announced they were rewarding her by giving her Best Movie of the Year, even though the damn thing was an absolute flop. Went to Blu-ray 4 days literally after it aired on the movie theaters over Avatar. In fact, since I was a member of SAG-AFTRA, I introduced a resolution saying that when there was a nomination for Best Movie, to avoid insulting the fans, whichever one has the high box office should be presumed to be the Best Movie of the Year. But they didn't want that. It didn't even get a second. So you see, that's how they operate. They try to condition what you want to see. by telling you what you want to see a little bit over the time.
And that's a fact. I'm about to show y'all real quick in a song, right? Real quick in a song, and then we'll get right back to what Judge Joe Brown was saying. All right, let me find the song real quick.
Yeah, they were partners. Both of them were physicians. You saw Alex Haley's grandfather, a lot different from the type of teacher you have right now. When you got somebody that was in World War II or Korea, and he grabbed, he said, "Boy, what did you just say?" Dr. Ron Chappelle, we were in the one form or another of martial arts, and we ran that playground. Now, every Wednesday, because there were no open movie theaters in South Central, we took 200 kids from first through seventh grade, just the three of us. We got UCLA to provide the transportation. We got in free at any movie house in downtown Los Angeles. And every time the patrons would just become amazed. You had 200 kids in here. We didn't hear a peep because three young black men could keep 200. It's
I apologize for that. So let's get back to right where he was at, and I rewinded it back a little
a
bit.
principle of philosophy. There are a lot of gay folk that think LGBTQIA is a cult, and they don't like it either. But this cult has immersed itself into the American mindset, into American politics, into American education, into American sociology. And it's like any new religion, it is filled with overwhelming zeal. It is ruthless. It operates on the basis of by any means necessary. It is appropriate to ruin other people to save them from what they are.
I have a question, right? Being that you witnessed firsthand the transition and the growth, how did the LGBTQ, I
Hello?
forgot the last names, become so powerful?
Because they made it a point 55 years ago, and we heard it often as they pontificated about it. They made speeches about it. They were going to take over entertainment, they were going to take over politics, and they want to entertain, well, not entertain, but take over news reporting. And they have. See, if you go to Hollywood, LGBTQIA brags that 9 out of every 10 people you see anywhere in Hollywood are affiliated with them. But that is not quite truthful because Hollywood has a lot of gay people in it, but all of them aren't into LGBTQ. As some of them might put it, LGBTQ is a cult. And just because you're Islamic does not mean that you support Al Qaeda or ISIS. Or if you were a Christian, you didn't support Reverend Jim Jones and drinking a lot of the wrong kind of Kool Aid at a large church picnic in Guyana either, you see. Or you didn't have to support Branch Davidian. So, it's like what's being propagandized. Now, there's this thing called brand loyalty. That's what is a weird point about Hollywood in
Blessings, the meal ticket blessings.
this whole thing. You've heard of Nielsen and their ratings. Well, Nielsen started off 80 some years ago, and what it was for was to give commercial sponsors an idea.
Now, for those of y'all that saying that he's crazy, listen to how Jaguar Wright came out exposing everything that's happening in Hollywood. How they have Puff Daddy and a whole bunch of other celebrities, talking about that. They're taking it by force and stuff like that. It's a lot of these things that are on. Like, it's crazy how the CEO of Disney, she's okay with sitting here and making these cartoons for kids, and bringing the non-binary, the LGBT right into these cartoons like nothing. Like, if there's parents that are okay with it, and it's not the school districts, each and every one of these schools, there are some teachers that are fighting against it. Same way there are some parents that are fighting, but not enough. How they got the books in these schools and they're teaching these kids. Like, come on, man. Like, y'all sat here and took sex ed out and want to teach the kids LGBT plus A, B, C, D. I listen, man, I don't know how it goes and what order it does. Listen, people's sex preference is their sex preference. But that should stay between you and whoever you with. You shouldn't sit here and put that into a child's mind when a child's mind is still developing and they still trying to figure out who they're going to be and what they're going to be in life. It's not like this child went through some trauma, right? And now I'm sat here, and I'm gonna put it like this because certain shit you say can get you strike. Not like this child went through certain trauma, and they had to sit here and have a sit down with Olivia Benson, and now okay, it's understandable why this person's mind, this child's mind, is thinking like this. And even with that, if you give this child treatment on time, if you get them help, if you seek them help on time, a child can have a proper life after they've been, abused, molested, however you want to say it. It's not a lot. It takes time. But see, these kids do what they see. And people get mad when you tell them, like, yo, the truth hurts. But this is what's happening right now in our communities, and we're letting it happen. Once again, like I said, if we was able to unite, I swear to God, and stay united, it would be possible for us to sit here and actually start our own schools for our kids and teach them about our histories, teach them about the tribes, teach them about African warriors, teach them about, Native Indians and much more. But we can't do that. It's hard. Too many people worrying about the color of our skin. Too many people worrying about other people's pockets. And once again, and I'm going to keep saying it all my lives, I hear everybody scream Malcolm X. But that man gave his life for a reason. And we did not soak in the message. He's not here now. We are. We wasn't in them plantations when these people were, shackled up and enslaved, and when they were taken from the homelands into other places. Those people fought and lost their lives. We're sitting here crying like if it was done to us and not our ancestors. Instead of sitting here looking at like, damn, they lost their lives. They sacrificed their lives so that we can have a chance, so that we can have a purpose, so that we can have hope and faith. And what are we doing? I don't know what the hell we doing. We taking advantage of it. We're not listening. We're playing around with it. It's just crazy.
Idea of what return they were getting on their commercial advertisements.
Oh, something more tangible so you could charge to see like you get this
Yeah.
much traffic. And
So who was going to it? Now, their prime target was females 18 to 24. Why? Because there was an insulting theory that said women are dumb. And if you get them to establish brand loyalty or develop brand loyalty at 18, they'll keep buying that brand for the rest of their lives. You've heard of soap operas. Well, that's because when they originated on radio, they were sponsored by Procter and Gamble, Colgate, Tide soap products
Pay
because
attention.
they were presumed to be bored, stay-at-home housewives, and they would be listening on the radio to these stories that would distract them from the humdrum existence that they thought they were caught up in. Soap operas. So right now, for example, the demographics that spend the most money are males 54 and above. The second highest spending demographic are females 35 to 54 who operate operative families. And it's kind of bad because the demographic that spends the least money are females 18 to 24, but that's the number one target. Now, I remember
And it is. And like I was saying a minute ago, it's crazy how South Park just came out with that movie and they was exposing all this. How how can I say how Hollywood, how all these industries are targeting the little kids. And they don't care how they do it. They don't care if it's by sitting here and paying these actors or paying these, how can I say, influencers. It's crazy how they used influencers in the movie, right? And to do explicit shout out shit. And it shows you like, yo, it proves like what's happening right now. Look at the shit that's happening with Charleston White, Hassan Campbell, and all this. Like, yo, they get paid to act stupid on social media. They get paid to manipulate the minds of our kids. And we're not seeing it. No, we see it. We just decide to give it a blind eye.
down here, we had a meeting with KNBC4, which at the time was the largest broadcast station in America, and some of the large commercial sponsors. And my show was their number one moneymaker. And they were talking about, well, Judge, we have a problem here. You just started appealing to these
Yo, he
18 to
funny as shit.
24 young women, and you appeal to the ones 35 to 54, but not the ones we're targeting. This dude said, hey, what's wrong with you? I sell Mercedes and Maybachs.
That's I'm
They're
sad
very
at the
expensive automobiles. 18 to 24-year-old females don't buy my automobiles. The people that watch Judges Card show, they buy my automobiles. The hell with you. You want me to snatch my commercial budget from you? Oh, no, sir. No, sir. And what's the matter with you? Don't you?
By the way, everybody, if you haven't signed up, subbed up, my bad. If you haven't subbed up to the meal ticket, make sure you do. Yo, great podcast. And he's back, baby. Yo, you gotta love the meal ticket, yo. Go check him out. You will not be disappointed.
Read the 34 through 50, 35 through 54-year-old women that love him are the second highest spending group out there. What is the matter with you? So they shut up. They got hit with a commercial reality. And you see, one of the things you have to understand about Hollywood is it does not operate off of money, it operates off of agenda. If you want to see how it works, next time you go to a movie, when it first starts,
I'm laughing. That's true though. But they also go by analytics, statistics.
watch the number of studios or production entities that are affiliated with that movie. They don't have the cash nor the credit to do it all on their own, so they spread it out as sort of a syndicate.
That's a fact. There's a whole bunch of producers, co-producers, a whole bunch of it's a whole lot. I'll be mad as shit when they be having them long ass intros with all these people. I'm like, man,
Thing. And they produce movie after movie that happen to be box office flops. For example, they have a thing called Black's List. Black's List was started by a brother named Black. And it's not negative. For the last 25 years, each of the major studios have sent in their best scripts to Black's List, saying these
mm,
are the best scripts we've encountered this year. And 75 some percent of those scripts got made into movies. But with the exception of just one movie, every single one of them has been a flop because Hollywood doesn't know what makes a good movie. They will spend a lot of money on it and then have a group of people look at it after they spent the money, focus groups, but they don't know what makes it. So I won $100,000 bet with 10 executives, 10 grand a piece. I said, I'll pick out of your next 10 productions, the ones that are flops and the ones that are hits. I picked every one. How did you know? I said, it's easy. I said, if you go back and examine entertainment throughout human history, they all have a
hmm
purpose. whether it's the shaman around the campfire in Africa or on the plains, or you're talking about Shakespeare, or you're talking about Greco-Roman plays, or even
Manipulate is their biggest purpose. Brainwash is their biggest purpose. Y'all not listening.
John Wayne in a movie. It says something about human nature.
Before Malcolm X lost his life, he said the only way we're going to win is by nationalism. Pay attention. We've been lied to. We've been brainwashed. Those of you that are still asleep, stay the fucking bed, yo. Because you cannot walk around blindfolded. You're not woke. You need to, wake up that third eye and come into reality. Get out the matrix for 1 second.
This garbage you're putting out doesn't say anything that people need to hear. You're pressed by the lighting. Who gives a damn? What's the purpose of the lighting? You know, the dialogue. What does it say? What is your point being made? And you pick all this garbage that has no point. In the one movie you made out of the whole bunch on Black's List that made it, which was uh Will Smith and Charlize Theron with Hancock, that had a lot in there that had something to say about something specifically, and it made it. That was the only one in 25 years that hadn't been an absolute flop. Then another thing,
Shout out to Will Smith on Hancock.
James Cameron came into Hollywood peripherally. He is an oceanographer. He did contract work with the U.S. Navy, undersea
That's
spy.
Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar, Titanic, Abyss. Those are the three highest grossing movies of all time. But they hate him because he's not Hollywood. He did oceanography. He did documentaries to raise money for his oceanography work and got into Hollywood. He's a real world badass. He actually went down the second deepest any human has ever been, personally. Not quite to the bottom of the Marianas Trench, but 400 feet shallower than two Navy officers went in 1960,
Damn.
all by himself. So he's real life badass. But when he came out with Avatar, which was all-time box office hit, it lost out to Best Movie of the Year to a sorry, poorly done war movie known as Hurt Locker. Why did he lose out? Well, if you checked with LGBTQ a week before the Oscars, you saw who was going to win. See, Oscars are a fraud now. They aren't doing what they're supposed to. And why did Hurt Locker win? Because
That's why I said earlier, they needed to create that drama. That's why they had Chris Rock and Will Smith fake out that slap, because Will Smith ain't really smacked Chris Rock. I'm telling y'all. Like, you could tell the stand, the way he smacked him, and they actors, yo.
Hurt Locker was produced and directed by his just divorced wife, who came out as a proud lesbian. So they announced they were rewarding her by giving her Best Movie of the Year, even though the damn thing was an absolute flop. Went to Blu-ray 4 days literally after it aired on the movie theaters over Avatar. In fact, since I was a member of SAG,
I was asking that question. How in the world did Avatar end up being second to the movies? Because it was a good ass movie. I sat here and I watched it, and they say a lot in that movie, yo. Like, there is a big message in that movie if y'all pay attention, but nobody has. I'm trying to figure out how I can do the reaction to the movies and the music on here, and when I do, I'm gonna start doing it, and y'all gonna hear my perspective and my opinions.
after I introduced a resolution saying that when there was a nomination for Best Movie, to avoid insulting the fans, whichever one has the high box office should be presumed to be the best movie of the year. But they didn't want that. It didn't even get a second. So you see, that's how they operate. They try to condition what you want to see by telling you what you want to see a little bit over the time.
First of all,
Boom! And he said exactly what a lot of us have been saying and a lot of y'all have been ignoring. Why? Because we not celebrities.
before we even get into your show, do you believe if you never had that MLK James Earl case, you would still be presented with the opportunity to do the Judge Joe Brown show?
Yeah. Hey, one time, almost 40 years ago, I represented the youngest person in the world on death row.
I wanted to bring that up too.
That's how I got.
That's
They
the claim
wanted
to fame.
it got.
Yo, I was curious what happened to the show Judge Joe Brown. And I heard about this story and boom, damn. Listen, man, I am reacting right with y'all, so I appreciate everybody that's with me. It is 12:04 here in North Philly. HP, baby.
Worldwide publicity.
Can you explain that case and explain how you got him off death row?
Okay. I got a stay of execution 23 minutes before they're supposed to execute this young man. He was 15 years and 2 weeks old at the time. When he was in the seventh grade, he supposedly murdered 3 people. So they gave him the death penalty in Arkansas. Okay, it was an all-white jury. All kinds of things went wrong, and I got a unanimous verdict from the state Supreme Court in Arkansas to set the conviction aside. So I got a stay from the.
Yo, I have been curious for a minute about this. And shout out to this interviewer. I never knew TV. He really did his thing. Like you did not interrupt Joe Brown and you let him talk. You really let him like just explain. You ain't cut him off. You didn't interrupt him. Nothing. Love the way this interview was done.
The Chief Justice of the Arkansas Supreme Court, and from then Governor Bill Clinton in Arkansas. So they reversed the case, and
Damn. He said Governor Bill Clinton. When I heard of this, Bill Clinton was president. Shit. Clinton wasn't even president yet.
he wound up dying some years later. Somebody murdered him, but I got him off. Okay. Now that made it big, and in fact, I got a retainer to do a movie or a TV series about it, but I donated it to the family and to the expenses of defending him. I mean, it cost me $50,000, $60,000 out of pocket to defend that boy. And I filed a brief that had to be hardbound, like.
Yo, shout out to Judge Joe Brown because not a lot of judges would do what this man has done. Not a lot of judges would sit here and stand up and speak up to the system and talk back to them and do what he has done. Yo, for years I've had said I pray for this man. Until now, I stand 10 toes down saying I pray for this man. He spills gems like crazy and he has no filters. He is not scared to speak up or even touch on the most touchiest situations that make people feel some type of way.
A dictionary, literally hardbound and printed. It was 12,483 pages long. And the Arkansas Supreme Court had read this thing. And surprisingly enough, the state was all upset because when it was my time to argue, we were talking about the UCLA Arkansas State football game rather than the case. And the state objected, and the Chief Justice said, "Sit down." I said, "Who are you going to object to? This is the Supreme Court of the state. Attorney Brown's brief is excellent. We know what's going on. I mean, it's sort of a, what do you say in basketball? Slam dunk. It's like there's no way we're going to let this stand. We're just here going over the routine. So something more meaningful. We're talking about this football game." So they issued the opinion. But anyway, it is what it is. So that was there. Then, before I got the James Earl Ray case, I had made some hit nationally and internationally off of my sentencing, which was based on a new criminal code that Tennessee adopted in 1988. And I had lobbied for the provision which required that judges use innovative sentencing in lieu of strict incarceration for certain kinds of offenses.
Damn, why y'all hate this man so much? Like, do y'all see everything he's fighting for? Y'all hate him because he's fighting for man's rights and he's fighting for what he believe in. Damn, like, why so much hate on one man?
So what I was doing was punishing, but giving an incentive through the punishment to people cooperating with what I was trying to do. I was trying to get them out of the trap. What was the trap? The criminal justice system has morphed from a crime control device to a labor control device. See, labor is a commodity like wheat, corn, or cotton. And when you have a glut in a commodity, the price drops. And when the price drops for the commodity of labor, you get pissed off people like Timothy McVeigh, who go buy $200 worth of the most common fertilizer in America, and they blow up a courthouse in Oklahoma City and take down 200 plus people at one time. So anytime you get a commodity glut, you do three things to check it. One, you cut back production. Two, you store the, subsidize the producer. And three, you store the surplus. We store our surplus in a jail cell instead of a grain silo. The subsidies, the welfare check in perpetuity. And three, the cutting back of production is when the kids tune out, drug out, drop out, get knocked up too early, too often, listen to too much of the wrong kind of presentation where they ideate on the wrong things. They think about being pimps, hoes, drug dealers, and
Hey,
et cetera, instead of something constructive. They carry themselves the wrong way, talk the wrong way. They don't know how to diffuse a situation. They're always angry. They don't have vocational skills or academic excellence. They behave.
yo, and he is explaining how these kids are behaving right now. Like, lie to you not, that's how these kids are. They are disrespectful, they are rude, and that's because they have no discipline in the house. You got a lot of these moms out here. Amira, you got a lot of these moms out here that are being friends to their kids. A lot of these dads too, but it's more the moms and stuff like that. Like, these moms are too busy trying to be a friend to their kids that they not disciplining them. They too worried about if their child is going to hate them or not, man. Listen, it's normal for your child to get mad at you. If your child gets mad at you, it's listen, man. That means that you're doing your job. Like, it is not okay. Like, I don't know what happened to parenting, but sitting out here drinking and smoking with your kids on the weekends and acting ratchet, trying to be better than them, it is not the way to go. That is not parenting. Like, I don't know if y'all forgot what parenting is, and even though that, when you have kids, you're listen, you don't have a manual. It doesn't you don't have a manual. Like, you don't give birth and boom, there's a manual telling you this is how you supposed to raise your kid. This is what you're supposed to do. Like, nah. Like, you learn as you go, and your child, listen, I've told people this before. Your child, you think the whole time that you're the teacher to your child, right? And your child is a student. No, it's the other way around. You are the student, and you are the student, and your child is the teacher. Because as you're parenting, you're learning as you go. You learning as you go. You're learning not just yourself, but you're learning your child. Now you're learning new things about you, and you're learning how your child is, what they like to do, how you got to protect them, how you got to defend them, how you got to sit here and figure out so many things as time go by. How much rope can you give them so that they don't choke themselves? Like, when they lie, when they telling the truth. Like you gotta learn your child. And not just that, once you have kids, your life is not your life no more. And a lot of people can't seem to accept that. It's reality. It's time to accept it. It's too many kids out here, and if y'all don't do what y'all gotta do as parents, y'all gonna be building way more than just 2 to 3 y'all gonna be building way more than just 2 to 3 feet caskets to lay underground. Now we're gonna be building these caskets for these teenagers and we're already building them. But there's gonna be more. And what y'all fail to realize is heaven's playground is getting full.
In a certain way, so where they live becomes an island of chaos, and the impacted community cannot use political uh, mass action for constructive purposes, and it's a mess. And then you get good citizens paying attention to their safety, walking from front door to carport rather than getting ripped off economically. And when you store the surplus, there's an enormous market on feeding, clothing, transporting, communications involving them, security,
Mm.
and housing of the surplus.
Can America survive without the prison industrial complex?
No, but it's
Mm.
got to be revised in what it does. And the
Mm. Can America survive without the prison surplus? Yo, let's go back a little bit.
out, drop out, get knocked up too early, too often, listen to too much of the wrong kind of presentation where they ideate on the wrong things. They think about being pimps, hoes, drug dealers, and et cetera, instead of something constructive. They carry themselves the wrong way, talk the wrong way. They don't know how to diffuse a situation. They're always angry. They don't have vocational skills or academic excellence. They behave in a certain way, so where they live becomes an island of chaos, and the impacted community cannot use political uh, mass action for constructive purposes, and it's a mess. And then you get good citizens paying attention to their safety, walking from front door to carport rather than getting ripped off economically. And when you store the surplus, there's an enormous market on feeding, clothing, transporting, communications involving them, security, and housing of the surplus.
Can America survive without the prison industrial complex?
No, but it's
Mm.
got to be revised in what it does. And the way to stop it is to do something that every other industrialized nation except ours is doing. And that is come up with programs so that the worker who is made obsolete by industrial technology and computerization becomes or remains viable in the labor market. See, too many people have been loyally serving a company, say driving a forklift for 19 years. They've got savings, a home, etc. They have aspirations, and then they get a pink slip that says, "Buy sucker, we're downloading for corporate profitability," because some SOB wants to be a billionaire before he hits 55, so you can go forget all your bills and everything you rely upon. It can all go to hell. Now, you see, we don't need that. And some people don't get the right idea about this. Some think that they want to put people in prison so under the 13th Amendment they can get slave labor. They don't want the labor other than to keep somebody from being idle because idle minds mischief make.
X.
Okay, so you want something for them to do to keep them out of trouble. The bottom line is this criminal justice system was not seeking rehabilitation, because if
Mm.
you rehab them, they just reglut the labor market that you won't fix.
Mm.
Leave it to private enterprise. Well, private
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? And that's why they so mad at him.
enterprise is not into charity, it's into making money. Now, what I did to stop the recidivism and what I got some initial fame for was, first off, getting the defendant to understand what he was into. Yeah, man, I pulled it up. No, man, thank you. What do you mean, thank you? You mean because I reformed, Judge? No, I'm not thanking you for reforming. I'm thanking you for effing up in the first place. We need you to do that. Thank you for wait. You want us to do that? Yeah. Don't you get it, man? You getting chumped off because you're doing just exactly what you're supposed to do. This system doesn't work unless you do what you do. Wait a minute. You
Mm,
mean they want me to do these criminalities?
damn. For all the clowns out here acting like fools on social media. They want you to do it. But they also want y'all idiots to support. And this is not for everybody. I'm speaking in general. If the shoe fits, wear that itch.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Damn. So when you get somebody to thinking about it, and then you get him to thinking about what is your purpose in life? I ain't got no purpose. Well, you could have. And when you give him a cause, see, maybe this guy put on one of these programs 1992. I ran into him when I'm in mine, three of them just last week. Judge, you remember us? No, I don't. Well, you gave us some time. Did I give you enough? Well, see, it
Ah,
was this thing about manhood, man. It's like, damn, like I got grandchildren now, man. And, like everybody's doing well. It's like you straighten me up, man. I ain't been back. And see, that was the other secret. I was imposing manhood. And you see, when you take a male and you teach him manhood, he's got a cause that can never leave him. No matter how bad it gets, he doesn't want to die behind it because it's making him angry and it's saying it's adversity. And whether you call adversity Simba or you call it what I have to deal with on a day to day basis, is a man. It's my task, my obligation, and my privilege to take it on and whip it because I'm
mm.
part of a team. I'm not alone.
Tell him, Judge Joe Brown. Shit. Man up.
And you see, when you do that, you totally alter this guy's perspective, and he no longer becomes a thug, something that preys on his community. He does something for it because he perceives himself as being part of something. He's a man of his people and of his community. And when he sees himself that way, he stops messing up like he's been doing.
Did you know Barry White when he was younger in the streets?
Oh, yeah, I did, but he wasn't in.
All right. So I'm going to pause that right there. And if y'all haven't watched, shout out to I Never Knew TV. If y'all haven't watched this interview, go watch it. It happened 4 months ago. So shout out to them. Judge Joe Brown was speaking some gems here, and it shows you. Listen, man, everything he said here is doing nothing more than just backing up what a lot of us on here that are having a positive podcast are saying. So shout out to Judge Joe Brown. Make sure y'all check that out. Shout out to everybody that supported the shorty. I'm going to end this live. This is the last live for 2023. I will be, probably hopping on people's lives, supporting them, talking, and showing them support. So hopefully to see y'all on my next live. Make sure y'all subbed up. I do not schedule lives. So make sure y'all subbed up. Till next time, this is y'all shorty Rachel. I hope all of y'all have a blessed and humble day. I hope all of y'all continue to have a blessed and humble day.